Gaming news today is all about the next big thing. First, Doom the Dark Ages previews are here, and while they are landing very positive, which I expected, some of the previews are issuing a bit of a warning to long-standing fans of the franchise. So, as the title of this show says, the previews may concern you, they may worry you, but not me. I'm excited, and I'll tell you why. Second, brand new leaks about the Nintendo Switch 2 are refuting some of the previous leaks that claims were made about the device and its performance capabilities. I'm going to be honest, I actually hope that the latest leaks are true, because I think it would help some of the things that I care more about with respect to the Switch 2. Third, Xbox is dropping some pretty strong hints about their handheld by Asus that allegedly is coming this year, so it seems like those rumors are actually going to come true, and it seems to then be on pace. And it is April the 1st, so we're expecting all kinds of shenanigans. There's already been an Insider Gaming article very humorously saying that GTA 6 would be coming to the Xbox 360 in like a throwback edition. So there's going to be a lot of silly things today, some shenanigans, and we'll probably try to have fun with it. I still think it'd be hilarious if Rockstar decided to finally drop GTA 6 Trailer 2 today, just as like a, yeah, it's April Fool's Day. You didn't expect this, did you? I'm actually not expecting much, especially since the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct is tomorrow. We will be co-streaming it. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. If you do want to support the channel directly, we do extra shows, behind the scenes shows. There's a whole second side of this channel you don't see if you're not a paying member. Click join and then pick Member Plus. It's $6 a month. It supports me directly. And if you're watching now or you're watching later, hit like. It helps the video. So what's going on with Doom the Dark Ages, right? This is one of my most anticipated games this year, and I'm actually gone up in anticipation after reading these previews. They hit yesterday, and I wanted to give you guys good and ample coverage, okay? Since it is one of my most anticipated games of 2025, I didn't want to slap it together yesterday. We had a power outage, so I had a late start, I had a late night. We got power back, thankfully, and I didn't want to like slap those previews together haphazardly. So I wanted to kind of grab the general consensus, and we've got really strong headlines. Things like, hey, this game convinced me that id Software are wizards. It's a stunning, meaty shooter. I can't get enough of the action. And I especially like this one. I didn't expect to say it, but Doom the Dark Ages adding a shield and a parry somehow makes it feel more like Doom than ever. And listen, I think that's a good catalyst to look at some of the split opinions on this, because you should know this will not feel like Doom 2016, and especially not like Doom Eternal. And to some, that's great. To others, this could be a bit of a deal breaker. It might turn you off. Now, I, for one, think it sounds awesome. I'm going to explain why. But thegamer.com said the following: after 3 hours with Doom the Dark Ages, I was a little bit worried. And their issue was that they struggled to get into a flow state, because it's more of a stand and fight than a float, dodge, and weave and fight, right? There was a lot of movement, a lot of verticality, a lot of agility, especially in Doom Eternal. And here's what they have to say. After playing for a couple of hours, I never really got a handle on this style of combat. Whenever the demons started to swarm, my muscle memory kicked in, and I started trying to dodge left and right to avoid attacks or jump to higher ground to rain down fire from above. I can expertly dismantle every demon type in Doom Eternal with my eyes closed, but take away my dash and hand me a shield, and it's an entirely different game. One, I'm not sure feels as fun or exciting to play. But they did say something earlier that makes me think I'm going to love this Doom. They said, I hope you like parrying, because you're going to be doing a lot of it. And y'all know I love parrying. I think it's one of the most satisfying things in a game whenever you perfectly land a parry, and there's a slowdown mechanic especially to really emphasize it. That is something that they do in this game that I think looks really, really fun. Okay, now this observation, though, about parrying and the shield is something that Games Radar, a completely different outlet, they think this is a positive. They're the ones that said adding a shield and parry somehow makes it feel more like Doom than ever. And similar to what the gamer said, the experience was a bit of a learning experience. And here's what they had to say. Having played lots of Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal, I jumped in ready to play more of that. Then I realized I'm struggling more than I should be, taking at times heavy fire from all sides and having my armor and health shredded. Ah, that's right, I have a shield, and I'm expected to use it. Now listen, with the footage that you're seeing right now, and I've seen a lot of footage lately, the projectiles and the flow of combat, it even kind of gives like bullet hell Returnal vibes, and apparently there's been some previews that have talked about how it's a bit of a bullet hell, and I'm super excited. There's just no iframes, you've got to use that shield. Instead of dashing and dodging through stuff, you are blocking and parrying things. And I am just so down to see how that feels. It does seem, though, like it was a consistent surprise. PCGamesN.com said, I was surprised at how integral the shield is to combat, and in battles with tougher enemies and bosses. The requirement for regular, well-timed parries makes the Dark Ages feel a bit Souls-like in nature. Now again, this excites me, but it may be a concern and a worry to you. This may sound like a Doom that you aren't going to want to play. So listen to these previews, watch people play it day one, wait for the reviews, and then make a judgment call. Because I, for one, think this will end up being my favorite out of the three, but I'm just basing that off of what I've heard so far. They did, however, PC Games N, they thought that the mech and the dragon levels didn't land as strong as sort of the boots on the ground combat, and they concluded the following. They said, quote, when the Slayer's feet are planted firmly on the ground, Doom the Dark Ages does pretty much everything you want from a Doom game, and it does it well. Combat is heavy and crunchy, while still following and allowing elements of dynamism as its shield dash mechanic. So with that shield and the dashing, they feel that you're still able to get a lot of that great moments and movement. So listen, just be warned, okay? This sounds like a very different Doom. If you played the heck out of 2016 and Doom Eternal, you're going to feel like, hey, this was a pretty big change. And I am sorry, guys, I forgot to turn off, hang on, I'm going to do this right now, right in the middle of the show open. That is my bad. I just turned it off. No more ads. That setting got imported from yesterday. That's my apologies. I have to turn that off manually now. The next story is about the Switch 2 and a new leak and rumor that may make people feel a little bit disappointed, but I am actually not disappointed in what we have heard. Now, in case you missed it, some of the earliest Switch 2 rumors were sort of boasting of something similar to DLSS being on the device, and that it would be able to hit 4K in some games. But dev kits are currently in circulation, and that seems to squash that rumor. Now, I always said that a portable and undocked Switch 2, I'd be okay with 1080 as long as I was getting good frame rate, and then maybe when you dock it, it bumps it up to 1440 so it looks a little bit better on a big screen. Now, most first-party Nintendo games just don't seem to have the art direction that would require or really benefit that much from jumping all the way to 4K. Now, that's just my opinion, but I don't think like playing Tears of the Kingdom or Breath of the Wild at 1440 versus 4K, I don't think the difference there would probably be worth the computation power that would be required for that. Like, I think 1440 would be totally fine for virtually all Nintendo games. Right now, Insider Gaming has the following headline. Developers say Nintendo Switch 2 dev kits don't have 4K output. And here is what they reported. Quote, I've heard this from one developer at GDC, and I also heard it separately in an email, but the dev kits, or some of the dev kits, don't have 4K output. Insider Gaming's Tom Henderson said during the latest episode of Insider Gaming Weekly. Now, some people are fixating on his phrasing where he said some of the dev kits. I don't think Tommy meant anything by that, right? I could see different versions of the dev kits being I can't see different versions of the dev kits being a thing. That would be very strange. I really never actually thought that 4K was going to be a big focus for Nintendo anyway. That just doesn't seem their vibe. I would say, though, given the source of this, I would not bank on it having 4K output. I trust Tom Henderson. He's got good and reliable information very consistently. I don't think he's ever really missed a target when he reports on things. And I'm actually totally fine with this. I'm more hopeful that this means that 60 FPS in games like Tears of the Kingdom or future Mario titles or even that Metroid title that we recently saw, I'm hoping that that is what we end up focusing on, like good resolution, good performance. We don't need to fixate on 4K. That's not really Nintendo's bag, right? But speaking of handhelds and speaking of the Nintendo handheld, they're not the only one seemingly wanting to have a handheld in the market. The Xbox handheld getting some hints in the public yesterday. In case you missed it, a few weeks ago, it was claimed by Jez Corden of Windows Central that an Xbox-branded handheld would be coming in 2025. Now, it was later revealed in the days after his report that it would be being made by Asus. Well, just yesterday, Asus tweeted the following. They said, our little robot friend is cooking something up, and they did #ROG, #ROGAlly. And then Xbox replied with the sort of monkey puppet eye meme where you're like, oh, what's this mean, right? Or it's sometimes used as, to display nervousness. they were clearly signaling this has something to do with them, I think. Now, obviously, everybody took this to be about the rumored Xbox-branded handheld that's slated for later this year. Now, there's been much debate, and there still remains much debate to be had about a product like this. Will it do incredibly well, or will it just be one more handheld in the not explosive start that the handheld market has had? It's done fine, but it certainly hasn't taken the world by storm. And then there's the console PC hybrid that is allegedly coming in 2027. Will that be disruptive? People are alleging that it will be disruptive. You'll be able to play PlayStation games, won't you? Because it'll have Steam on it. There's been much debate about whether or not PlayStation will be able to block that from happening. I've had people strongly disagreeing with me when I say I think PlayStation will care. I think hardware bans are a thing, therefore blocking hardware would be pretty easy. But for now, it seems that plans are full steam ahead for the Asus handheld later this year that will be Xbox branded, and they dropped their little hint on Twitter yesterday. And now I have a game for your wish list and your radar, and this one is called Kiborg, Kiborg, Kiborg. And this is coming to old and current gen Xboxes and PlayStations as well, to Steam on April the 30th, so end of the month that we are currently in. They describe it as a relentless roguelite beat 'em up where you enhance your body with new cybernetic implants each run. You've been sent to the worst prison in the galaxy for crimes you didn't commit. Pretty typical story, right? Death won't provide an escape, but a violent reality may offer a way out. So they had a demo called Kiborg Arena. It did decent. It had like mid to high 80s on the various platforms that it showed up. This actually looks quite a bit better than what I saw in the demo footage of Kiborg. So it reminds me a little bit of, if you've seen Spine, that Gun Fu game, and if you remember The Surge, it kind of reminds me of those two games a little bit. So if this looks like your kind of game, wishlist it or check it out at the end of this month. Again, this is Kiborg, and it's coming out on April the 30th. And this is, again, hitting old gen PlayStations, old gen Xbox, and current gen, as well as Steam. So that's the news, and now it's time for the discussion. And again, guys, I am sorry about that. I intended to turn that off. I have to manually turn off the automatic ads thing now. We ran an experiment a couple of days there, and it was just too disruptive. So now we're going to try and do something like maybe on the hour. I'll just run some, and I won't leave or anything like that. So Doom the Dark Ages hands-on impressions, and then you're looking at the review count. How are there 25 critic reviews already? Oh, I wonder if Metacritic's misfiring. The review embargo has not dropped for Doom. That's still a ways away. That yesterday was the previews, yeah. Yes, tomorrow, that is correct. That is correct, Cisco. Tomorrow is the Switch 2 Direct, and we will be covering that. We will be co-streaming that. Should be a very, very good week. Let's go ahead and check here. I think we already had somebody do something. Kim Bama, if you're still here, Kim Bama did. Han shot first, and so did you. The first new member of the day, and it was a Member Plus, and whenever you sign up brand new or upgrade to Member Plus, it counts as two. So for $6 a month, you can add yourself to the total every single month, and you get a little double when you first sign up. And Joker Quinn did the first gifted member of the day and gets us to 103. Thank you so much, Joker Quinn, for your continued support of the channel. Guys, always make sure you check those renewals at the bottom of the chat with a $sign button, and then you can gift to others. Or we're really calling on folks to upgrade, and get yourself out of the gifted pool. They have upgraded the membership tab on the channel. It should be easier on mobile devices. I hope it's better than their direct they did for the Nintendo guys' sake. Anyway, I actually think this is what happened. So the Nintendo Switch 2, I don't know if they had a firm release date or marketing timing nailed down just yet. We know they delayed it to this year. We know they were concerned about production. We know they were concerned about demand, and that was one of the reasons they delayed it. More than likely, the Direct that we watched just a couple of days ago was already planned and billed out. You got to remember, a Nintendo Direct is like recorded and edited and put together likely a month, maybe more, before it ever even hits. It's not live. They're not like, hey, we're doing a stream next week. Can you guys send us all your B-roll and all your, all your stuff? It's like, no, they put that together way far in advance, more than likely. There's also marketing contracts, agreements, and deals, I'm sure, between Nintendo and the various companies. So, like, that direct had to happen. More than likely, the Nintendo Switch 2 was supposed to be either landing earlier this year or later. You just have to remember they did in fact delay it internally, and because they did that, you're likely then stepping on whatever existing plans there were, which is why they did something last week that felt a little strange. It was like, wait, why are you doing this? And then in like less than a week you're doing the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct. So I don't think it was intended to be that close together. I think that was just sort of a happenstance kind of a situation. Now, the Nintendo Switch 2 not having 4K, to me, is not of great concern. I was actually not expecting that. I was more hoping they would be leveraging some type of upscaling so that we could get 60 FPS. Like, I think that is the main thing I'm hoping to get. As I said in the show open, I don't necessarily know if you took Breath of the Wild up from 1440 to 4K, would it be worth how much power it would take to get there? I know it would look better, but not by much. Is that a Taken King shirt? Yeah, this is the raid shirt this is the King's Fall raid. Yeah, you got his chest open, you got the guys down here shooting. I thought it'd be a good day to wear a Destiny shirt. I was like, well, tomorrow's April Fool's. Let me bust out one of my favorite shirts from that era. A 1080p handheld and 1440 docked is all Nintendo needs. That is essentially what I said. Yeah, I agree with that, Hadigan. I don't think their vibe, I don't think their games, I just don't think 4K is a big need. I really don't. I know some of the early leaks made it sound like that was going to be possible. I was always hesitant to think that was something that they would prioritize. I thought, maybe it's possible, with upscaling. Who knows? Right? I always thought maybe. But I never really I never hung my hat on 4K. I was always like, my main concern and my main hope is that because they're leveraging some type of upscaling, they can get 60 FPS. I agree with you, they don't need 4K, but I just think we are streaky. I'm not sure what you want to say there at the end there. Do they think they will ever get over 60 FPS on some titles? I would not think so, no. We're dreaming if we think Nintendo cares about 60 FPS. I actually think they do. I do. I actually think they care about it this time around because there was a developer that broke down the Mario Kart footage, and he was just pointing out all of the various clear bumps and graphical elements that you've not really seen on a Nintendo before. That to me tells me they're trying to push into giving their games a little bit more of that modern flair. I do think it matters. You also have to think about the thing they're launching today has to go for another 7 years. I think it's going to be a lot harder to have a handheld go the distance into like 2030 running everything at 30. I really think that'd be very difficult. I don't think it certainly wouldn't be as bad as like the console and the PC boys, but I think, and again, this is just based on my observation, and based on the way they positioned the Switch 2 in that initial trailer, it feels like they're trying to attract a little bit more of like more serious gamers that care about these types of things. Like there's a big audience that will stay away from the Switch 2 if everything's running. Just a renewal. Thank you, Zyber. You knew what I was going to ask. You're the frickin' man. And that gets us to 104. Thank you so much. Thank you for renewing your Member Plus. Guys, make sure you're smashing the like button. Try and get us to 200 likes. It is April Fools. We're only 20 minutes into the show, and there's already a lot of you here, so thank you for being here. We can talk about pretty much anything going on in the gaming news. Doom the Dark Ages previews, I ran over those. They might concern you. They don't concern me. I'm actually, I'm way more pumped. Way more. If it's another 30 FPS device, that's a hard pass for me. Talk about a blip. Oh, yeah, for real, feet. I wouldn't be able to do it. Somebody said they watched the show. Oh, here it is. Lancelot says, I watched the intro, saw a couple reviews, tried to stay away from lots of gameplay. I'm still as excited as Doom Forever. OG Doom players and I embrace the change, so long as it's not Doom 3. Thank you. This is the best April Fool's joke you'll get today. 47 months from Creature, and he gets us exactly 20 away from 125, which I'll owe you guys 5 members. Every 25, I give 5 back to the community. So thank you guys so much. It looks like their controller doubles as a mouse. How much we betting on Nintendo PC releases? That would be a crazy development. I just don't see it. I just don't. I do not see Nintendo wanting to take their stuff to PC. They really like Control. They really like their stuff. I do not think so. That would be more mind-blowing than like Xbox putting Halo on PlayStation. I'm just going to say it. Like, it seems crazy that Xbox is putting their stuff on PlayStation, right? That's now that's just normal. Everybody's just kind of accepted that that's happening. But when it was first even suggested that Xbox would be doing that, everybody thought it sounded crazy. Nintendo putting their games on PC, I think that's even crazier. I really do. That would be a complete reversal of how their brand has, positioned itself in the market for the last 20 to 30 years. Nintendo doesn't even put basic sound options in their games. Right. And Team Ambush renews their Member Plus, so close to 2 years of membership. Thank you so much. And bumps the membership line on the week to 106. Thank you guys very much. Weather permitting, this Saturday will be the IRL stream in my backyard. We'll be hanging out. I'll be showing you how I reverse sear a steak. It'll be a good time. Again, this is weather permitting, because there is a forecast for rain for pretty much the entire week. So I'm kind of hoping that doesn't happen. Freebird with 32 months. Wham bam. He says, take my money. And that gets us to 107. Thank you so much. So many of you guys at the Member Plus and above. Thank you so much for supporting the channel directly. Serious gamers don't play Nintendo games. I think that sentence is stupid. That mouse is going to be for Mario Paint 2. I think there's going to be a lot of games that probably utilize that mouse feature. Like, we always see the games come out that enjoy, motion controls. They like to lean into those new things. I tell you what game is really going to use the mouse feature is probably whatever new Mario Party comes out. There'll be plenty of games where you've got to trace something faster than other people. You know what I mean? I think there'll be a lot of fun stuff that they do. Hi there. Happy April Fool's Day. Happy April Fool's Day, everybody. Could we get 50 more likes on the video? Thank you guys so much. Yeah. Call of Duty. I mean, I don't know, dude. You might see the pros start playing on the Switch. They'll be using that little Joy-Con mouse, It may be, How about they not do that and give me a chance? Listen, if you don't play Mario Party and get really angry at some of the most basic challenges, I don't know if you've ever really lived. You know what I mean? It's so fun to play those games because they seem so basic. I always like how you do the little demo test and you're like, oh, I've got this. Yeah, I've got this down. And then you get smoked by your girlfriend or your kiddo or your cousin or something. There's something very, very beautiful about Mario Party. It's a great equalizer. What feature are you looking forward to in Doom the Dark Ages? The frickin' parry. The parry and the shield being central to the combat of Doom the Dark Ages gameplay. I am so pumped. That's why I said, I think there are going to be people that are concerned when they hear these previews and these reviews. They're going to be like, that doesn't really sound like the Doom of Doom Eternal, Doom 2016. And I read the previews and I was like, this sounds amazing. This sounds like Returnal and Doom and Dark Souls and parrying all got put into a blender. I'm all about it. The projectiles have a Returnal vibe in a couple of the sequences that I saw. the emphasis on parry and blocks, I'm pumped. But I do think there are going to be fans of Doom that are like, I think there are going to be people that don't like it. I do. I think when it comes out, just you watch, I think it'll be kind of split. There'll be people that are like, I don't like it. Yeah, Eugene says it looks slow. I've seen people saying that. They're like, it's a lot slower. And I think they even said that. They said, like, in Doom Eternal, you were like a jet. And in this, you're going to be more like a tank. You're not flying around. You're not zipping around. You're, like, on the ground. You're grounded, you know, and you're parrying, blocking. And there are, like, dodges. It's not like a dash. It's not quite the same. It seems like it's more of like a sidestep than what you had in Doom Eternal. So I think there are going to be people that don't like it. I do. They said that you're slow on purpose. Yeah, you're a literal tank. Keep something in mind, Eugene. Keep something in mind. They are giving you total control over the game so you could speed it up and make it feel more like the Doom that you want. They said they had people internally slowing the game way down, but they made all the projectiles lethal, and they said that there were people that loved that. They thought that really brought an intensity. You could crank the speed and see if it can't give you that Doom feel, you know, that you feel like you're missing. Even if you do that, I think the emphasis on blocks and parries is going to frustrate folks. I think there are going to be people that don't like it. I'm pumped. Like, I jumped in to Assassin's Creed Shadows last night, and I had a sense of like, oh, I don't know. I just spent a long time in an open world. You know, I just rolled credits on Death Stranding, the real credits, the real second ending. And I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this, man. This big open world thing. And I got in a couple fights, and I'm like, oh, no, I'm good. I got in a couple fights. I was like, no, I'm good. I can do this. Like, as long as I've got that vibe and that feel and that combat, dude, I'm good. I'm in. I am in. I think the gameplay we're seeing is on easy because if you slow the video down, they're pairing stuff off the screen. You can adjust everything. It sounds like the philosophy was actually a modern take on a more old school Doom, which had a sort of bullet hell aspect to it. Yeah, Omar, I think that's a pretty good observation. Yeah, oops. I think that's a fair observation that like the bullet hell vibe of Doom is a part of the history of the game. It's not obviously not quite bullet hell to the degree, you know, of some of the more modern bullet hells or like a Returnal or something. It's not that extreme, but it certainly is there, and I think that that's fun. Thoughts on Doomslayer versus Master Chief showdown? Come on, what are we even talking about here? Come on, man. What are we even talking about here? The way that people talk about Master Chief, I'm like, did we play the same games? I don't I don't think we played the same games, y'all. I really don't think we played the same games, y'all. Like, Doom guy goes to like hell and fights demons, monsters of the underworld, you know? Hey, Master Chief's just, you know, he's just kind of a super soldier. So what's the answer, bro? Y'all are just trying to get me in trouble. That's all you're trying to do. Y'all know the answer is that Doom guy would smack the crap out of Master Chief. Come on. Doom guy would literally wipe his rear end with Master Chief's helmet. What are we even talking about? It's not even a contest. It's not even a contest, dude. Ravenous Gojira with 32 months. Now that you got the true ending, are you able to say where Death Stranding ranks in your favorite games? Did the true ending change the game for you? If so, how? Death Stranding is one of the greatest video games I have ever played. I don't even like calling it a video game. I don't. I really don't. It's like interactive cinema with a gameplay loop. I still don't have a way. I don't have a way to talk about it. I'm like, there was a scene last night where I was like, no way! I was like, no way! No! I was like, there's no way! And then the mid-credits thing, get the frick out of here, man. I knew it. I effing knew it. I'm telling you, the Death Stranding 2 trailer made me go back to the game, and then you guys were like, go, Lono, go. You're going to love it. You're going to love it. And I always felt like I would. I felt like I should. I'm like, this is a game that I should be able to vibe with and enjoy. I tell you what hooked me story-wise. Was Mama's story. That was it for me. That was it for me. I was like, are you freaking kidding me? Like, Kojima created an incredibly creative story and world. It's macabre, it's mysterious, it's dark. And then within that space, he somehow was able to tap into like very potent and meaningful stories within the story itself. I was incredibly impressed by that. This is going to sound weird. To me, it reminded me, the game does not remind me of Lost. The storytelling element reminded me of Lost. You're in this sort of insane situation, and within that insane situation, you have these very emotional, potent, very interesting characters. Like Mama's story, what happens with her sister, what happens with Hartman. I was like, this is some of the most creative, but also most brilliant storytelling I think I've ever seen. And then I got to the end, and I was like, the ending lacked emotional punch. And people were like, keep going. You haven't actually played the ending yet. Holy frick. Like, Die Hard Man's monologue, the revelation of there's a pretty significant revelation about how you and another character are connected. I'm keeping this as generic as I can. And I was like, holy frick, I can't wait for the next game. Good golly. Yeah, it's one of the greatest video games I've ever played. It's, yeah, I don't know where I rank it. I don't know. I don't think I could rank it above Hellblade, Returnal, Tsushima, Sekiro, Ori 1 and 2. But, buddy, it's up there. It's fighting for a spot. It really is fighting for a spot, dadgummit. It was good. It hangs in the air. It hangs in the air afterward. Like, I had to tell my family about what happened. I was like, because I finished it, and it just kept going, and it kept going, and it kept going, and it kept going. And I was like, I got to go to dinner. Like, oh my gosh, I'm late. And so I went upstairs, and I was like, I had to talk to somebody about what in the heck was going on. So there's a good, yeah, it leaves things in a place where I anticipate part 2 being excellent. I appreciate you not spoiling it. A lot of people are going back. Because people are going back, I'm being generic. I don't want to spoil anything. Yeah, I don't want to pull any of that away. So that's not the topic for today. We've what do you guys think? Quickly smash the like button. Get us to 200 likes. We can't break from topic this early. We're going to kill ourselves. I want to know what you guys think about Doom the Dark Ages. Have you looked at the previews? Have you looked at what people have said? The Doom the Dark Ages gameplay that's out there. I will gift a member. All right, I'm going to gift a member every 5 Super Chats. I forgot to set that goal. That's up there. That can also help us out. Super Chats, gifted, renewals, likes, comments, all of that. Is there anything on the other project? No, we don't know anything about Project OD or his other one, which has a weird name. I keep forgetting the name of it. Doom will be... Doom the Dark Ages climbed higher on my most anticipated list. Now, it's not higher than Yote. Right now, my most anticipated list is like Yote and like Doom and Death Stranding 2 are basically like in second place in different ways. Followed by Expedition 33, Mafia: The Old Country, Borderlands 4, GTA 6. Hell Is Us. Gosh, there's too many games, boys. There's too many games. South of Midnight. There's too many games. Soros is next year. I like the original Doom in the Sega. For some reason, I can't get into the new Doom games. You can't get into the new Doom games. Really? I like the different elements with the shield. Just wondering how reactive the game is in terms of speed, switching between offense and defense. So as far as I can tell from the gameplay, the Doom the Dark Ages gameplay that we've seen because of the new previews that dropped, I think what we're looking at is there's like these projectiles that are in the field that are green, and it looks like you have to go to those to parry those. Is that how that's how it looks like to me? Nobody really went into the in all the ones that I read. I only had time to read. I didn't have time to watch the videos, so I went and read the articles on it, and they kept stressing parrying shield, parrying shield, parrying shield. I couldn't find anybody that really broke down the specifics. I'm assuming that that's what, based on the footage that I've seen, you're trying to get to the green. You're trying to get to like the green projectile, and you parry that one. Who did the original soundtrack for this one? I'm not sure. Sounds like the Cuphead kind of thing. Yeah, where you parry the pink projectiles. Yes, it seems that way. Let me pull up the footage so I can show you what I mean. Doom the Dark Ages hands-on, a massive engine upgrade. Digital Foundry is saying that the engine has been massively upgraded. So, that's exciting. You haven't seen anything? Here, let me show you. And this is Xbox Era's footage. They put it up with no commentary. Let's go back here. All right, so watch this guy. He's going to shoot. See, he dodged all of the reds. I think you can... Boom. Yeah, see, you parry the greens back. It looks like you dodge the reds and you parry the greens back. In Skillet's preview, he said you dodge orange, you parry green. Okay, I picked up on that just from watching the gameplay. So I didn't see that. In the ones that I read, they never really designated that. See how the bullet hell, the bobbing and weaving through the projectiles? It reminds me of Returnal, like in a good way. Like it's very much, obviously not Returnal, but man, oh man, this just looks so good. It looks like you can warp to them. Yeah, it looks like your shield dash or your shield bash is got really, really good length to it. Pause. Yeah, there is no dash. I think, yeah, it looks like you just literally sidestep. I thought there might have been like a dodge to the side, but I think he literally is just sidestepping. So it doesn't look like there's a currently... Ooh, he knocked off... Oh, he's knocking armor off. That looks freaking sick. No opportunity... There's an opportunity for a parry. Yeah, see, I love this. I absolutely love this. I'm going to play the frick out of this game, dude. The fact that you have to analyze the enemy attack patterns and the bullet hell has within it stuff to be parried. Love that. Off topic, but Detective Seeds was just mentioned in a Push Square article with Oblivion Remake. I haven't said this to Seeds, but I think he needs to lean in. I think he needs to lean in to his name and his sources and make that a part of his content flow somehow. He's getting a lot of attention. He's getting a lot of attention. He was mentioned, and he's getting mentioned by YouTubers. He's getting mentioned in articles. He's got a really good batting average. He just needs to be careful not to burn his bridges with his sources, but I think he could... His name, I mean, right? He's Detective Seeds. He looks for the seeds of... and the leaks, you know, to bring you the goods. It's right within the name and the POV. It could be within the name and the POV of his brand. You know? It's real. Sony president Hiroki Totoki steps down from Sony Interactive, effective today. I thought that was an April Fool's joke. Is that real? Right, Madam on Doom, let's go. Make Madam play this. We will definitely have Madam playing Doom on a Friday night, for sure. For sure. Is anybody else reporting it? It's fake, just causing problems. I was going to say, I didn't see anybody else reporting it. I was like, there's no frickin' way. There's no way. Don't trust anything. No glory kills. It's real? New leadership at Sony. Hideaki Nishino appointed president and chief executive officer? Wait, but I thought Hiroki was stepping into a new role. This is not new. This is just the effective date of something we already knew, boys. Sony Group Corporation and SIE also announced that effective April the 1st, Hiroki Totoki, president, COO, and CFO of Sony Group Corporation, will step down from the SIE chairman position and become president and CEO of Sony Group Corporation, and that Lin Tao, currently serving as SVP Finance, that we already knew this was coming. Yeah, this is not news, boys. This is not news. We knew this, that this was coming. Yeah. Totoki is staying at the company. He will be president and CEO of Sony Group, and he's no longer going to be COO and CFO. He's going to become president and CEO. Yeah. Now, based on how the news cycle went last time this sort of thing happened, I would not be surprised if by this time tomorrow you have thumbnails of Totoki, failure, retiring, leaving, Sony's in a shambles. The liars and the obfuscators will do their typical work. They'll interpret him becoming president and CEO as a demotion. He's going from CFO, COO, and chairman to president and CEO. And I'm sure with the brilliant and very accurate, very focused on integrity and honesty, yeah, they'll be out in full swing with their videos. Ads? No, I turned it off. You should not be getting, I'm not doing anything. Yeah, I want that demotion. Yeah, can I become the president and CEO of a large corporation and have that called a demotion? Ads? I turned it off. April Fools. You mother... Listen. That's not funny. That isn't funny, okay? That is not funny. I was like, are you kidding me? I turned it off. I was like, I hated the fact that it was interrupting you guys. So you fricks. I was like, man, oh man, YouTube. It's hard out here, boys. It's hard doing this every day, dadgummit. That was amazing. That actually got that. Oh, man. That was good. I'll admit it. I'll admit it was good. But frick you, all right? Frick you. This just in. E-beggar Reforge Gaming angry that ads are running on his content. Only Lona would be so gullible. I have always wanted the user experience to be uninterrupted in what we do. So this is a stupid holiday. That's right. At least you guys can't April Fool's gift members. That would be bad. That would be really bad. That has to be real. When we shout those out, those are real. A dedicated Xbox interface for Windows 11 looks to be in the works. This is coming from Zach Bowden over there at Windows Central. References full screen experience that can be booted directly onto a startup have been spotted in the latest Windows 11 preview build, a likely sign of things to come for Windows gaming handhelds. Why are we celebrating stupidity? We're not celebrating stupidity. Come on. Listen, you can approach April Fools and you can have fun with it. You can have fun with it. I'm literally wearing a Destiny t-shirt. Just have fun with it. So, you're kidding. There are some people, though, El Duderino, that get really grumpy on April Fools. They're like, hey, everything's a lie. Don't believe anything. What would my villain name be? I don't know. My son wanted to be in Slytherin, in Hogwarts Legacy, and I felt like I gave him a really good Potter-verse, Harry Potter. Like, I think J.K. Rowling would like this name. I think she would. She's free to use it. I just need some royalties. Just give me 1% on, anything, any book sales, okay? I called him Dominus Bane, and I was like, that would be such an amazing, dark wizard name in the Harry Potter world. Dominus Bane. I thought that was dope. Incoming 20 bomb. That's not funny, Quintar. My girlfriend and I got my 17-year-old daughter telling her she was going to have a new sibling. I don't know what my villain name would be, but I thought Dominus Bane was pretty good, It even looked cool in the game when it would, pull up and, people were talking to him. It felt like fresh out of the world of Harry Potter. No one cared who I was until I put on the hat. That's right. That's right. So all Slytherin are bad? No. My son certainly would be. All he ever did was spend time in the place that let you do all of the bad spells with that one arena. That's just all he ever wanted to do. They both put the game down pretty quickly. The running missions, they got tired of that. I wish somebody asked Hugo or someone at id Software how long this game was planned to be multiplat. Obviously just assuming, but I doubt this game was never discussed being an Xbox exclusive. But I would like to know. Well, there's a lot of conflicting information coming out, all right? And a 5-bomb comes in from Eric. Thank you so much, Eric, for the 5-bomb. Appreciate you, Mr. Shin. And that's going to bump the line to 112. So, Hip Hop Gamer claimed as far back as 2021. 2021, Hip Hop Gamer claimed that production never stopped on Starfield for PS5 and that it would be coming to PS5. That dude claimed that 4 years ago. So, and a 20 bomb from Quintar. He says it's not an April Fool's joke, and it gets us to 132. Save me, I feel overwhelmed. I appreciate the 40 spot. If you are genuinely in need of help, there are hotlines for that. I am not in a position to help you other than to tell you that there are resources available to you if you feel like you need help. I'm not in a position to do that in a live stream environment on YouTube. That's not something that content creators are in a position to do. But we can direct you to resources if you need somebody to talk to. Low-key Hip Hop Gamer has been calling everything this generation. Yeah, in 2021, he said that they did not stop production, okay? Now, I'm using that as a catalyst to talk about Doom the Dark Ages, okay? I wouldn't be surprised if Doom the Dark Ages never stopped production for PS5. But I do think Quintar was right. Yeah, Quintar was right. I do think that they were told, we know they were told this. The CFO even responded to it and was surprised. They were told that everything was going to be an exclusive. How long am I in Shadows? 3 to 4 hours. Yeah, 3 to 4 hours. It's going to take me a long time to beat AC Shadows, I feel. Heard my name when I was on the phone, what I do. You know what you did, Seeds. You mother... No, I'm just kidding. We were just talking about you getting mentioned in videos and stuff. Anyway. Phil Spencer internally 100% told ZeniMax, all the studios, all your future games are exclusive. To the point that the CFO, Tim Stewart, was like, wow, it's not just new IP. It's all existing IP is going to be exclusive. I don't think they stopped working on it for PlayStation 5, though. I think there was internal rumblings about timed exclusivity, porting, something. I don't know. I think the plan was in flux. I think when Phil said what he said, there's a part of me that thinks this entire time, Phil was trying to have one more go at that strategy. One more swing at the ball. To be like, we can make this work. If we make Doom exclusive, if we make this exclusive, we can make this work. We can win people to our side. I think the ink dries on the ABK deal, and I think Satya says, nope, your playbook is in the bin. We're going with my playbook now. Right? Now, when Phil Spencer was on the Kinda Funny podcast, he said, ABK is not our strategy, it's an accelerant to our strategy. This is why I don't think they ever stopped production on games like Doom: The Dark Ages. I think they knew at some point we're going to bump games over to PlayStation, especially when there's a history. Like, you know that Doom has a history with PlayStation, Bethesda games have a history with PlayStation. So I think internally they knew everything going forward is going to be an exclusive. But then, like, ... it's like, but there's always the possibility that we're going to accelerate strategy and start putting our games on other platforms. I'm sure it started with a response to Starfield. No, the timelines don't line up, because they were working on Sea of Thieves going over to PlayStation before Starfield was even in the public's hands. Does that make sense? Like, I don't think that timeline works. I don't think that timeline shapes out, because they very clearly were working and moving to get games to other platforms well before Starfield had the response that it had. And you got to think, Starfield was the most talked about game the year that it came out, right? They had record-breaking new Game Pass user subscription signups the day that it came out. I just don't think it was a compelling move for hardware. And they know that selling games is where the real money is. They know that Game Pass is not nearly as profitable as selling your game on PlayStation and Nintendo. And, I mean, they know the numbers from Minecraft. They know the numbers from Minecraft. So, yeah, I think there was always this sort of internal hedging of bets about, like, yeah, all these future games are exclusive, but keep making the version for PS5. Because you never know. Once the strategy gets accelerated, if your boss tells you it's exclusive, you don't keep working on another version. Again, I think if you listen to Phil Spencer speak on the Kinda Funny podcast, it's obvious that their strategy will be accelerated by ABK. So making a game exclusive doesn't mean that you're not going to continue developing it, because in the future, if your strategy gets accelerated, you're bumping games to other platforms. We will have accountability margin issues in the deal model, as we will pull a huge number of PlayStation units out of the model, Stewart noted. I mean, if they stopped production of Doom on PlayStation, that email was discovered, and I believe it was sent in 2021? When would they have said, okay, now pick up where you left off? That window of time. So we know, what was the year that they started working on? So early 2023, we know that porting work for Sea of Thieves began in early 2023. We know that. Right? That's 2 years ago. So you think roughly 2 to 2.5 years ago, Doom was picked back up? November of 2021. So they stopped production sometime in end of 2021. They stopped production on Doom for PS5. Throughout 2022, they're trying when does the ABK stuff start? I can't even keep all the years straight anymore. I can't keep the timeline straight. The ABK trial and all that and the ABK coverage was 2023. So we discovered that email in 2023. Or was it 2022? When did we cover all the ABK stuff? I can't even freaking remember. Because I thought last year was the year where the ink had dried. They now owned them and everything changed. Hang on. When did we cover this? No, it was 2022. Deal getting blocked. No. My coverage heated up into 2023. It was late 2022 that Xbox started to get criticism for, lying to the regulators is what people were claiming. People were claiming they lied to the regulators. We started covering that end of 2022, and then into 2023, we started talking about, I was against it. Xbox was refusing to send things to the FTC. The CMA did its preliminary approval in March. No, I was right. It's 2023. So end of 2022, and then almost all of 2023, we were covering it. They get the deal done, and then all of 2024 was the evolution of the brand, like the Just 4 Games podcast, the rumors about Starfield, other games going, games actually start going, people are really angry. So yeah, it's, to me, that means that if at the end of 2021 they halted production on Doom the Dark Ages for the PlayStation, they would have had to have resumed their production. If it was in a similar timeline as Sea of Thieves, it would have been early 2023. Which is interesting because early 2023 is when they started gunning, is when the ABK stuff heated up. They were in active regulatory engagement with the Activision Blizzard deal. So it's like, that's when they started getting Sea of Thieves ready to port. So it's almost like as soon as they engaged in the attempts to purchase ABK, that's when they decided that they were going to be putting stuff everywhere, I guess. The FTC has called Xbox's decision to make Starfield and Redfall exclusive powerful evidence against the Activision Blizzard merger. That's what it was all about. Right. I think as soon as they initiated the attempts to purchase Activision Blizzard, I think internally they said the exclusive strategy's not going to work. And they started making changes. But at that point in time, there was going to be games that were still going to come out exclusive, like Redfall, Hi-Fi Rush, and Starfield. Right? Because you're already in 2023. The games have got to come out, right? Those games had already been delayed once. The price had gone up. They went up to $70. They had been delayed once. But we do know early 2023 is also when the porting work on Sea of Thieves began. Right. I also remember at that time, I was hearing through whispers in the wind that there were conflicting reports about Starfield. There were people being told to stop. There were people being told to continue. Like we were getting conflicting reports about Starfield coming to PlayStation because we had people saying it was. We had other people saying they had heard production had stopped. So I think in early 2023, was the beginning of everything changing, because you had Sea of Thieves getting prepared to be ported. You had the ABK, the movement into now we're in regulatory process. So it was like, well, internally we're going to be shifting everything to a multi-plat strategy, whether it's Sea of Thieves or all the other games that came that year. There were the 4 games that came over. Those things were all prepared during 2023. And then all last year during 2024, they were preparing games like Forza Horizon and Indiana Jones as evidenced by their coming this month. So, yeah, Doom the Dark Ages, if they did cease production on it for PlayStation, it would have been only about 1 year. It would have been about a year. It would have been basically 2022. They stopped building that version, and they picked it up again either late 2022 or early 2023. I mean, they could have picked up production of Doom in the middle of or late 2022, which would have only been like about exactly 1 year later, when as soon as Xbox initiated their attempt to get ABK, you might have seen a change internally, where they said, listen, if this deal goes through, exclusives are not even an idea anymore here. Once we own that much property, once we own that many publishers, it's once we own that many studios, it's time to go, dude. It's time to get away from this strategy. It was about Activision. I know he said that about ZeniMax. He was arguing that they could do the same with COD. Who was arguing they could do the same with COD? It's crazy how all this was going on, but they kept the mouthpieces talking about exclusives and console wars. I really want you to think about that. I'm of the opinion that ABK went through because they showed multiplat was their future. Yeah. Yeah, there was no concern about them locking everything down. What was the reason for selling ABK? ABK wanted to be purchased. I think they wanted to be purchased so they could get leadership restructured. I think they wanted Bobby Kotick out, and that was a really great way to do it. Activision Blizzard went to Microsoft and said, we would like to be purchased. I really want you to think about what Siri just said, though. Like, it's crazy that they had all the mouthpieces doing all their work for them. Well, what do you think's going on right now? Seriously, think about it. The same people, I just really, really track the trajectory, okay? This is my policy here. I'm not going to be calling anybody out. I'm not going to be naming any names. I'm just going to give you the ability to sort of track the pattern so that you can be discerning going forward. During the ABK trial, you had people that were running the mouthpiece, the support, the talking points in support of it. They were cheering for it. In a very bizarre turn of events, you had consumers actively cheering for an acquisition, which historically acquisitions are not good for consumers. And you had people misleading the public. They were. I think they were doing it intentionally. I think they were misleading the public and had the public convinced that this deal was going to be great for them. It was going to be great for the employees. Well, then the deal goes through and reality settles in. 1,900 something layoffs just at ABK, studios getting closed down, even studios that built something as nice as Hi-Fi Rush, right? You had all those mouthpieces running Defense Force on that. And then, in the wake of the ABK contract ink drying, you have Xbox moving into what feels like a third-party publisher role. And we are told, no, it's not going to be the big games, right? If it is the big games, then we all have a right to be angry, right? These are things that are said in the public. These are assurances that are made. Phil says it's just 4 games. This is not a signal that everything's going. The same day, he does an interview with The Verge where he says nothing's off the table. But what do the Bleed Green talking heads do? They assure the public that everything is fine. They assure the public that there will still be exclusives. They calm you down. they soften the blow, right? We hear from a former connected person, Tim Dog, that when Xbox has to deliver bad news, they like to use Jeff Keighley, and they use Jeff Keighley to announce Indiana Jones coming to PlayStation 5. Well, now the cages are rattled. It's like, oh, well, wait a minute. That's not a 3 and 4 year old game. That's not, as it was described at the time, that's not a bunch of B-tier games. And then this year hits, and Forza's going. And if Forza's going, basically everything else is going. From what all the connected people are saying, everything's going. So now what do those talking heads say? Well, exclusives are bad, multiplats are better, developers want as many players as possible, and this is where the industry's going. So, I want you to track the pattern. I really, really want you to track the pattern. When the AstroTurfers are running Defense Force for Microsoft and Xbox, it's clouding the waters, it's creating fog, it's creating smoke and mirrors because something else is going on in the background. When they were all running Defense Force for ABK, when they were all running Defense Force for just 4 games, when they were all acting like this wasn't where things were going, there was something else going on in the background. I think the exact same thing is happening now. There's this universal sort of agreeance that, yes, whatever Phil Spencer says, that's what we're all going to run with. We're going to demonize exclusives. We're going to act like this is where the industry's going. And while that's all going on, all the bluster and all the argumentation is distracting probably from the real thing that's happening. There's no reason to say creator's name. You can just say, I saw somebody say this. I don't care who said it. I said that this morning. I'm not interested in the who. I'm interested in the what. What happened? What was said? I don't care about the who. These people are immaterial to me. They exist in Twitter land and YouTube. That's all just a digital framework of fakeness and inauthenticity. They're immaterial. They don't exist. What they say has impact on what the public thinks. I try to inform the public to be deductive and to think through. This has been going on for years. For years. It has been. And me pointing it out, people didn't like that. It brought about negative reactions. So, going forward, you should just be asking that question. Why am I being told this? Why am I being, why are you trying to convince me of these things when just a year or two ago, you were trying to convince me of something different? I think it's their plan. I think that's how these things typically happen. I told you this, guys, a while ago. When Phil Spencer starts to say things that feel like they're contradicting each other, it's because something in the background is in flux. That's why the messaging's getting muddled. So when he says, we're not trying to win people over to Xbox anymore, and within the span of 48 hours, he says, we want our hardware to win. That doesn't sound like there's an agreement there. That doesn't sound like a crystal clear marketing point or a crystal clear vision of like where are you guys going? What's the point here? What's the brand trying to do? Like what are you trying to communicate and give to the customer? I can't tell. I can't. And now all of a sudden we're getting weird, oh yeah, play anywhere and multi-plat and don't be restricted to one plastic box. Man, we spent an awful long time talking about one side's plastic box, and now all of a sudden it's used as a pejorative. You stupid little plastic box. What? PWH now with 20 months and member plus. Lono in chat, haven't been around much, been super busy with work, but I still try to work and lurk. Thank you so much. That bumps the line to 133. I want you to think about what some of these voices in the space, some of these content creators, these pundits, these contributors, think about what they're doing. They're mocking the majority of the consumers that they once made content for. And a 20 bomb from P-Dub H-Town. April Fools. And we're getting 20 bombs because of it. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. That's very generous. Jiminy Christmas. Like, I want you to think about what these people are doing. They're basically insulting an enormous group of the consumer base. 150 million Switches have sold, 75 to 80 million PlayStation 5s. And we're going to make fun of that. We're going to use it as a pejorative. Oh, you care about your plastic box. Yeah, the consumer does. Keep insulting them. Hopefully that goes well for you in the future. Hopefully mocking and jeering the consumer value points that have been, celebrated and trumpeted by you up until now. Hopefully just turning on that, betraying that, and insulting that. I wish you well. I hope that goes really well for you. I hope consumers like having their choices mocked. Your stupid little plastic box. What the frick are you saying? What do you mean? What? It's like losing the championship game. Like, yeah, your little stupid little sport where you throw a ball around. What, because you lost? It's now stupid? Like, look at the consumer and the market response. Like, and you're gonna act like that's a dumb thing. It's dumb for consumers to prize that. Well, what they should prize is what Xbox and Phil Spencer say. That's what you should prize. You shouldn't prize what is in your interest. You shouldn't prize what you like. No, that's stupid. That's a stupid little plastic box. Exclusives are anti-consumer. Multi-plat and play anywhere. That's the way to go. That's better. Who are you to tell the consumer what's best for them? What? It consistently feels like one side really wants to sort of like will this into being. Like you're just going to manifest this market that wants that. Like, well, the market really wants that. Market doesn't show any signs of that being a tenant or a value point that they respond to. Obviously, they were blatant fanboys who shill for Phil Spencer. But this and this have been highly critical of Xbox and exclusivity plans. I don't think if you wanted the ABK merger, you're the villain. Are you trying to divide? Are you trying to draw a dividing line, Jacob, between people who thought like the ABK merger would be great and the people now that are acting like exclusives are bad? Are you trying to slice that and you're trying to say there were just fans who thought this would be exciting for Xbox to own all this property? Those fans still think exclusives are important. Is that what you're trying to say? I think that's what you're trying to say. You only say that in regards to PlayStation? Yeah, it's going to be really funny watching people like decry worrying about your stupid little plastic box. It's going to be really interesting watching them talk about Nintendo Switch 2. And if it sells well and does well and consumers respond strongly to it, gee, I don't know. What's one of the main things that's probably going to be on the Switch 2? Exclusives? Those anti-consumer, corporate greed, publisher initiatives. Huh? Like, what? What are we doing? I'm in. This is the thing I'm most interested in. This is the thing I'm really interested in. Because all last year, false narratives died. All this year, false narratives are dying. Go woke, go broke. Kingdom Come Deliverance, Monhun Wild, Split Fiction, and AC Shadows. Shut the frick up and get ratioed on Twitter, you bunch of clowns. Just shut up. Narrative, dead. Dead. I told you that one would die. I said, you had easy targets in 2024. Not so in 2025. There's another false narrative. Gaming's dead, dude. Gaming's cooked. Gaming sucks. Gaming's headed to a crash. Oh, is it? Tell that to all the record sales this year. Tell that to all the Game of the Year contenders that we've already got, and it's April the 1st. It's been 3 months. Beyond RPG Gaming, is that a renewal or an upgrade? That's a member plus. Bump of the line to 154. If that's an upgrade, we're a 20 bomb away from 175. We've had a couple of 20 bombs already today. So those narratives have died. Do you want to know what other narrative is going to die in just a blaze of glory this year? Is that exclusives are anti-consumer. And a big, giant, Godzilla-sized monster that everybody always conveniently forgets about is just going to squash it. Nintendo. Nintendo's going to walk out and be like, oh, exclusives are anti-consumer, huh? That's interesting. Here's a bunch of long-standing franchises and recognizable IP that you can only get on our platform. I can't wait for all these people to demonize Nintendo for doing that. It's going to be great. I can't wait for those podcasts and videos. And a 20 bomb from Pathalon Phoenix. And he puts us on the doorstep of the next milestone, 174. I look to the same degree that I looked forward to all the videos that nobody made where they were going to build a $700 PC and they were going to kick the crap out of the PS5 Pro. They never made those videos. Putting their money where their mouth is a little too difficult. I can't wait for all the videos that decry Nintendo as anti-exclusive. That's going to be great. I can't wait to see that. That's going to be awesome. And a 5 bomb from Hotshot. And he gets us to 179. Ooh, he's trying to set up another one. He's trying to set up another 20 bomb. No, seriously. This is something that you should do as a contributor, as a conversationalist in this space, is ask these people to be consistent. Well, why aren't you decrying Nintendo as anti-consumer? They're going to walk out in 2025 and they're going to show you just how big exclusives can be. And Ryan with a gifted member. Thank you so much. And there it is. Out here trying to tee up 20 bombs. Nice setup, Ryan. The goal for these people is to tear down everything because nothing has gone as they predicted. The online community has been so wrong about everything this generation. Jacob says, I am in a way, but my end-all point is that there's a difference between Xbox fans with a platform and fanboys from someone who watches occasionally. I see you sometimes mixing the two up, not trying to debate. I've been trying to draw a dividing line, Jacob, between the public who was misled by people who were willfully either dishonest or willfully slanting things. Alejandro, welcome back. If you want to renew your membership and have it count towards the goal, you got to be on Member Plus. If you're just enjoying the fruits of a gifted, congratulations. I thank you for being here. There's a distinct difference between somebody who watched content for all of 2022 and 2023, and they got convinced that ABK was the promised land for Xbox and was going to turn things around. And they were convinced by these same people that they weren't going to move the big titles. It was only going to be smaller titles, older titles. They're not going to move the big AAAs. They're not going to do that. And then this year, what are they told? Well, I mean, this is where the industry's going. Yeah, this is better. You know, exclusives are anti-consumer. Developers want as many players as possible, so they're doing this to support the developers. We're going to demonize exclusives. We're going to say, like, exclusives are primarily a publisher initiative. These are questions you should ask people that say this sort of thing. If exclusives are so anti-consumer, and if exclusives are primarily pushed by the publisher and not something that the developers want, then what you should ask somebody who is positioning this viewpoint, ask them, why historically do so many developers enter exclusivity agreements then? Why do they do it? See what kind of an answer they can come up with. If they're anti-consumer and they're not something that developers want, right? Because, I mean, we were told that developers want as many players as possible. That's what we've been hearing. Don't go against that. Don't you dare go against what Daddy Phil said. They'll get you. I'm testimony to that. Don't you dare go against what Daddy Phil said. Well, ask them. Ask them. Well, I don't understand. If developers want as many players as possible, and if exclusives are primarily a publisher initiative, why are so many developers willingly engaged in exclusivity contracts? Why? For years now, it's common practice. Why are so many developers talking about how they like building for a smaller scope? Why? Wukong Money had it. That's right. And then I would like them to weigh in on Nintendo. Don't let them do, this is what they always do. Well, Nintendo's going to Nintendo. No. You don't get to dismiss the biggest player in the room. You don't get to just do that conveniently. Well, Nintendo's going to Nintendo. What? You're not saying anything. What? Why is it anti-consumer for Nintendo to do it? Why do so many studios engage in these agreements? Why? If they're anti-consumer and if they're antithetical to what developers want, we've been told developers want as many players as possible. Well, then why are they engaging in exclusivity contracts? Why? Why do so many studios only build for Steam? Or commonly, you'll see Steam and Switch or Steam and Xbox. I had one of those wrong recently, Death's Door. I had that one wrong. It was on Steam and Xbox. And they did so well. They hit like 100,000 players week one. That success enabled them to put the game on other platforms. But that's another prime example of they entered into an exclusivity agreement and it benefited them. Is that anti-consumer? You want to sing the praises of that game? That's a great game, right? I rolled credits on it. I loved it. Awesome game. It's a shame that it launched in such an anti-consumer way. It's such a shame that they did something that was completely counter to their aims as a developer. I mean, if you want as many players as possible, why did you limit the scope of your game at launch? Why'd you do that? Why? These are questions to ask. Like, I think one of the best things you can do right now in the conversation, instead of just letting people stump for Xbox and just like run marketing talking points, just ask them questions. What about Nintendo? You don't just get to say, well, Nintendo's going to Nintendo. No. What about Nintendo? Do you think Nintendo's anti-consumer? Do you think the games made for Nintendo are antithetical to the fact that developers want as many players as possible, right? If this is where the industry's going, why is one of the industry leaders not doing what you're saying? Why? You can bad faith PlayStation examples all you want. Well, they licensed out IP for these games that were just announced during the last Nintendo Switch. The last Nintendo Direct. You can bad faith all you want and create false equivalencies because the public is easy to trick. But what's not easy to do is answer very, very well-constructed questions that poke holes in the view. Just use questions. Rather than going out there and like name-calling and getting like accusatory, just be like, okay, well, if this is your position, explain to me what you think about Nintendo. Explain to me what you think about the insane amount, the ocean of games that are only on Steam. Explain it to me. Make it make sense. If developers want as many players as possible, why are there so many games not doing that? The majority of games coming to the market every year are on one to maybe two platforms. Like, look at the ocean of games that come to Steam and Steam only, or like two platforms sometimes, right? Steam and Nintendo, or Steam and Xbox, or Steam and PlayStation. The overwhelming majority of games that come to market limit the scope of where they land. They do. The overwhelming majority of games. It's mathematically defunct to say that the industry is going in this direction when the vast majority of games are not doing what you're claiming? You're misleading the public. You're making the public think something that isn't true. Oh yeah, developers want as many players as possible. Why in the world then, every time we roll credits on a year, we're going to get to the end of 2025, and the vast majority of games brought to market have limited the scope of their project, and they're landing on one platform? Why are they doing that? Steam is much more relaxed in terms of developing games. Consoles have a lot of red tape. You can blame overregulation for that. Can you give me an example? What's PlayStation, Nintendo, or Xbox doing that makes what you're saying make sense to me? Why on earth would PlayStation and Nintendo and Xbox have what you're calling regulation? What are you referring to? I need an example. And a 5 bomb comes in from Siege Master. Gets us to 185. GTA 6 is going to be better releasing on console. Every game created limits scope in one degree or another. Every single game. Every single game limits scope to one degree or another. Maybe you're going to leave behind PlayStation 4. Maybe you're going to skip the Switch. Maybe you're only going to build for Steam. Every single game does this. It's why, like I said this morning, it's not a position, it's a mechanism. It's not like a position that they've come to. If you observe the market right now, you remove all your bias, and you just come to the market, you've never played a game in your life, and you're analyzing how studios bring their games to market, you would not even remotely come to the conclusion that multi-plats are the way, exclusives are anti-consumer, and developers want as many players as possible. You would never come to that conclusion if you were just going on like a fact-finding mission. You'd be like, well, the overwhelming majority of games that come to market hit 1 to 2 platforms. They limit how many platforms they hit. An insane amount of games every year just come out for Steam. A ton of games come out every year just for Nintendo. A good portion of games come out every year just for PlayStation. And then for the longest time, Xbox was doing the same thing. They would have games coming out at a regular cadence just for their platform, as well as PC, right? Either 1 or 2 platforms. You'd be like, man, it seems like the overwhelming majority of games that are built are prioritizing the game first, not number of consumers. Because if you were prioritizing the number of consumers first, you would never limit the scope of your game to 1 or 2 platforms. You would be like, we need to do everything in our power to get this game on every single platform that's available. We should be making our games for the PS4, the Switch, the PS5, the PC. But every single game does this. They limit scope and they say, where are we going to land? What's the most effective way to bring our game to the market? Are we going to enter into an exclusivity deal? Are we going to build for PC first? Are we going to do early access? If game companies want as many players as possible, like if that's their primary driving factor, what are they doing early access for? What are you doing that for? You're putting a game in early access on Steam and nowhere else? That seems antithetical to the claims that are being made in the public. Oh, did he give examples? Okay, to launch a game on Steam, you can do that with early access. With PlayStation doesn't support that model, which is one example. I don't think that's regulation. I think you're using an awkward word, okay? I think you mean like they have policy. Now, I do think that both Xbox and PlayStation have shown they're more open to early access games now. They are. They're doing demos, like with Forever Skies on PlayStation, and then there's the preview program on Xbox. I think both platforms are showing in more openness to that. And that, yes, there are the certification steps on the platforms. Most notably, Xbox's certification process tends to be the slowest for whatever reason. So yeah, patches and stuff like that. Sure. So, don't you think, though, Severin, that plays a significant factor in the fact that if they wanted to make sure they were on as many platforms as possible, as many consumers as possible, and didn't want to do the anti-consumer of, oh, we're just on Steam, you're giving plenty of examples of why that position is so silly. It's not founded by anything. You can't demonstrate that in the market. You can't. You cannot demonstrate that in the market. The market shows the exact opposite behavior from the developers. A $5 super chat tip from Dwayne. Do you think Elder Scrolls 6 will also be put on PS5 and this current gen will be next gen only? Elder Scrolls 6 will most certainly be cross-gen. It'll be on, PS5 and then, PS6. We don't know the launch window of it yet. It will be a multi-plat, though. They're not going to make it an exclusive. They've made that crystal clear. I'm sure the early access program on Xbox is faster, or they would not do it. I think the preview program doesn't. I think they treat those games differently, Paul. I think they allow them to be patched, perhaps at quicker cadence. If not, it wouldn't serve much of a purpose. I don't think. Thank you, Coyote Monsoon, for 21 months. Long time no chat. Hope all is well. Thank you, Coyote Monsoon. If you are paying for your own membership, you guys want to bump up to Member Plus, upgrading is really easy. It's $1 to upgrade, but it adds to this, and then you get into more content. Apparently, the mobile devices, the member page is supposed to be updated. If you go to my channel and you slide over to the membership tab, you should be able to upgrade a lot easier now, and then that supports me directly. It makes more room in the pool. Now, we're going to try something. We're an hour and a half in, so I missed it. What we were going to try is, since we're turning off automatic ads, I'm going to run an experiment. I am not going to leave the chair, okay? But I am going to hit ads. You may or may not get ads. While this is happening, I'm going to take a moment to do station identification for everybody else, okay? So I'm going to hit ads right now. Now, to the rest of you that don't get ads, there are a variety of ways you can support this channel. The easiest way is to be here every day. So make sure subscriber, make sure your bell is set to all. Notifications are getting switched to personalized, so double check that. Smash the like button, right? Let's get to 300 likes, okay? Let's do it. The other thing you can do, become a member. Hit join, pick Member Plus, okay? If you hit join and you pick Member Plus, that gets you into the green room. Every morning we do morning coffee, the Discord, Friday nights with my wife, right? Friday afternoons with Hilly. You get into all that extra content if you do Member Plus. Member Plus is the key here, okay? There are other ways to support. We just announced a chair sponsor, and a seat is the company we're working with. This black, really nice, stylish, high-back ergonomic chair. You can use the chair command, the soda command, or the coffee command. Those are all ways, like if you're trying to, if you buy soda, if you buy coffee, if you're needing a chair, those are ways to support as well. Okay? All right. There we go. We're going to try that as an experiment. In the past, when I would run ads, it hurt us so bad on the view count. I was like, this isn't worth doing. It's just making people leave. But I also would leave the room. So we're running a little bit of an experiment. If I run the ads, stay in the chair, do station identification, and then go right back to the show, will that basically help us to not be punished for not running ads? Because I feel like the platform is doing that. I feel like they're shrinking reach of videos that don't run ads automatically, right? And so we're trying to do what YouTube wants while also doing what we want. You kind of have to do both. So we appreciate you guys and your support and letting us know how it goes. Yeah, if you have YouTube Premium, then you just get to see me run station identification. I, for one, like some of the Red Chair's takes. That's true. Severin says, I'm not arguing against it. I'm saying it's one of the reasons certain games are PC specific versus consoles. It's one of the reasons that is the case. I'm not saying it's bad or wrong. So Severin, you have established that there are instances where it is easier for the developer and more economical, more efficient for them to build their game just for Steam. Let me ask you something. Why does it just stay there? This show has gone downhill since the other chair left. Why does it stay there? Why don't we see those games branch out? Mostly indies, and they release on consoles later when they get the money. Homie, the vast majority never make the leap. Trust me, I want them to. I play them. I play them, dude. Like, they don't make the jump. Like what? Like any of the Steam games I've played as of late, any of the indie titles I've played as of late, they won't make the jump. They just sit there for seemingly for forever and just hang tight on Steam. And these are really successful games too. That's one of the reasons that I get frustrated by it. And I'm not saying they're anti-consumer. I'm saying as a fan of the game, I want it to come over. What were some of the ones we played least recently? Right? Let's see. Karate Survivor, Nimrods, Windblown. Now, I don't know. I think Windblown might have a plan to come to console. I don't know if they've said. Windblown was the one made by, I believe it's the guys who made Dead Cells. Escape Simulator. Deep Rock Galactic Survivor. These are all games that seemingly are just perfectly happy to stay put on PC. Satisfactory. I'm not criticizing them for staying on Steam. I'm saying, why aren't they making the jump? It just, to me, I'm pushing against the idea that developers want as many players as possible. You've had success. You're doing well on Steam. Why aren't you bringing your game to other platforms? I'm not saying you're wrong. I just don't know what you're playing. I'm giving you examples of games that are not just, well known. They seemingly have had great success. A $10 super chat from Britt Dyer. It's obvious Sony and Nintendo follow the Japanese business methods. Microsoft is American. Sony has a more American look. So vilify Sony exclusives and ignore Nintendo was one of the most lucrative, that has the most lucrative exclusives. Can you do early access on console? It seems like the platforms are becoming more open to that, yes. These are rational actors. Why are they acting this way? Exactly. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, these are games that are seemingly doing just fine, and they're just happy to stay on Steam. The answer is extremely complex and case-by-case basis, Severin. I'm not asking you a question, and I don't expect you to actually give me an answer, right? This is set up to make the people who push for this squirm a little bit. It's like, tell me why they won't make the jump. I can tell you why. They don't think they'll get the return. It's not that they can't. The developers of Windblown announced they plan to release on console. Yeah, a lot of these games come to console later. One of my favorite games on PC, Witchfire, they have plans to come to console. It's going to take years, homie. I mean, years. Witchfire's been out for a while, and it's still probably 1 or 2 years away from even landing on console. But there's a number of games that will that never make the jump, and they never will make the jump. They're not planning to make the jump. And more than likely, they know it's not worth the return. They'll do the work, they'll spend the money, they'll develop it, they'll market it, and it'll go over to a platform, and they won't make enough money. You're about to talk about profit margins. That's exactly right. We're consistently told that if you put a game in more places, you make more money, period. Really. There seem to be a lot of companies that, for whatever reason, are very anti-money. They don't want to make more money for whatever reason. Why does Sony not sell games in certain markets? Maybe the regulations on consoles aren't appealing to them. I think it's so much more simplistic than that, Severin. I don't think it's a bunch of red tape. If you could put your game on PlayStation and make more money, you would do it. You'd figure it out. If somebody told me right now that I could make a lot more money, I could be a lot more profitable if I just uploaded my videos on another platform, do you think I'd be like, yeah, but you know, the red tape of making an account and picking the password, no, I would do it. We've even experimented with it. We have. It's because they know there are certain games and certain game types that are likely not worth the juice isn't worth the squeeze. Like the work that would go into taking their game and bringing it over to PlayStation or Xbox, they know that they're not going to make enough money to warrant it. They know like our game won't be as marketable, sellable over there. The demand wouldn't be high enough over there. You're always going to come back to that, which is why these very simplistic mantras are that you're not saying anything. Well, developers want as many players as possible. The vast majority of developers demonstrate the exact opposite of that. They demonstrate that they're not concerned with maximizing players. They're not. They're concerned with delivering a good product. That's why in this discussion that we're having, there are just countless examples of games that are happy to land on one platform and just stay there. We'd be making a killing on Rumble if you weren't a leftist. Shut up. The view counts over there are so weird anyway. We have videos over there that have generated a stupid amount of views and have gotten us like $7. If we had videos on YouTube pulling 30,000 views, 40,000 views, 70,000 views, 63,000 views, yeah, we'd be making a whole lot more than $7. So whatever their monetization structure is over there is terrible. Like, why am I putting content over there that's getting, insane view count numbers and then no money? Like, imagine having a video on YouTube get 70,000 views and being like, you made $1. Like, oh. I could really scale this. I could really make this profitable. 75 cents. That's amazing. The argument is similar to saying, if microtransaction stores had $1 cosmetics, they would make more money. If that were true, they'd be doing it. The thing speaks for itself. Right. Like, yeah, we've had that conversation before. People are like, well, if all the cosmetics were only $1, they would sell more. And I'm like, actually, no, that creates a psychological devaluation of the product because people are like, well, everybody's going to have this skin. They must not think this skin or this thing is very good. It's only $1, right? It devalues the product in the mind of the consumer. Like, cosmetics have to be at a certain threshold because it creates a certain level of vanity and value intrinsic to the item itself. Like, you see a skin for $10 and you see a skin for $1. Well, they need one person to buy the $10 skin. They need 11 people to buy the $1 skin. It's just easier to convince somebody to buy the $10 skin once than it is to get 11 people to buy the $1 skin because it has had its value intrinsically lowered because people are like, well, it's only $1. Everybody's going to have that. There's no vanity in it. Its cool factor goes down. And guys, if you haven't smashed the like button, do so now. It didn't seem to hurt us as bad. We definitely ran ads and we did lose some people. Not as much as we used to. We lost about 20 people. That's not as bad. We used to run ads and I would step away and we would lose, 50 people or more. So it seems to be a little less painful if I run the ads and stay here. And just station identification. You can't win with cosmetics any way you price them. There are people who are going to cry about it, saying it's too much or the dev time is going to cosmetics. Well, sure. what we're doing, though, is we're establishing, like, there's a lot of intangibles that go into why a game is exclusive, why a game is multi-plat, why a game is no longer on old gen, why a game's not on Nintendo, why a game might be Steam and Nintendo and nowhere else. There's a lot that goes into that decision. And I find the very sort of reductionist talking points about this I find it to be insulting to the intelligence of the public. Like, you think the public's stupid enough to fall for your diatribes. I also think it's insulting to the developers. Like, developers they're just not as smart as you. They just don't get it that if they put their game in more places, they'd make more money. All these dumb developers out here who just can't figure out how to do this thing that you're saying is so simple and so easy and so pro-consumer. So this is why I'm firm on this. And what sent us down this rabbit trail is Doom the Dark Ages. Everybody's sort of curious, like, was Doom the Dark Ages always planned to be a multi-plat? That was a big talking point when they announced it being multi-plat, and I was like, well, this is a reversal of what Phil Spencer said, and people were like, no, it's not that big of a deal, Doom's always been a multi-plat, and it's like, I don't know, internally, he made it sound like all future ZeniMax property would be exclusive, to the point that Tim Stewart was shocked and said, oh, it's not just new IP, it's all IP that will be exclusive, and somewhere along the line, the plan changed. That's what set us down this topic of, like, is exclusivity an issue, a problem? Is it anti-consumer? Or is it endemic to the industry? It seems to be, if you came from the outside in, let's say you had been making content about the auto industry and you started to take a great interest in the gaming industry, you would say, man, it seems like exclusivity is endemic to the industry, not just its history, but the present day, structure of how games land. Man, it seems like exclusivity is very common, extremely common. It's actually, exclusivity is more common than it's not. Landing on 1 or 2 platforms is more common than games landing on 4+. It just seems like the developers have lots of reasons to do it. You know what helps you make money and change the industry? Free to play. We know that made more money because everyone started doing it immediately. Sure. Well, he didn't say hate. I believe what was said on that podcast, C Fresh, was that people complain about the Series S because they like to complain and they grew up in the console war. And it's like, I don't think developers have expressed, struggles, frustrations, or difficulties with the Series S. I don't think they're doing that because they like to complain or they grew up in the console war. I think it's because it's a reality. It's a real thing. It's a bottleneck. Hi, Lono. I don't understand why your live streaming videos don't come up in my feed. I always have to click on your videos in Discord to get directed here. Don't know what to tell you. YouTube keeps fiddling with stuff. I've been streaming on the platform for 5 years and have regularly said, you can't rely on the homepage. You can't rely on notifications. Check your sub feed. Check the Discord. Follow me on Twitter. And we've been doing it long enough to know you simply cannot rely on YouTube to put the content in front of you consistently. Some of it's because if you never use the notification, like if they notify you and you don't engage with the notification, like let's say they notify you and you're like, oh, Lono's live, and you don't click on the notification. You just open up the app and go to my channel. Or you just open up the app and or you open up Discord and you click on the link. You're basically communicating to YouTube that you don't click on the notification. Even though you watch the content, you're basically saying that the notification means nothing to you. You're like, well, it's like an alarm at that point. Does that make sense? YouTube doesn't want to send notifications to people if they're not engaging with them because you're communicating to a machine. The machine doesn't know any better. The machine thinks, oh, you're not using the notifications. We don't want to annoy you. So he streams every single weekday Is it a weekday before noon? Then yes, Lono is streaming. That is also true. Depending on your time zone, though, it might not be as obvious. Lono, what do you say in regards towards the Doom impressions? So essentially what I showed in the opening of the show is that Doom the Dark Ages previews, they might worry you. You might be concerned, or you might not like this as much as the other Dooms. I am not feeling that. I'm like super excited, but the general consensus from the previews is that the shield plays a significant role. And not only does the shield play a significant role, the parry plays a significant role. So it's not going to feel like Doom Eternal or Doom 2016. It's not going to feel like those games. You're not going to be zipping around, flying around, soaring around. It's going to be more of a grounded combat, more like a tank, more of a stand and fight, dodge the bullet hell, parry the bullet hell. It's going to be a very different flow. I think it sounds amazing, but I think there are going to be people that don't like it. I played more AC Shadows last night, Wooly. I'm trying to figure out, I think I know how to do this. So I was playing Assassin's Creed Shadows, and I was doing some of the side quests, and I killed all these guys in this area. It had like a red dot. And then I found a thing that said capture supplies or something, and it looked like I needed 2 scouts to do it. As far as I can tell, that means I need to do some of the open world random things to get scouts. That seems to be where I get my scouts. And then once I have 2, I can tell them to get those resources. I think that's what it wants me to do. You need scouts for that. I thought that. So I didn't have any. I had already used them for a couple of things. So then I had to be trained on how to go through a tea ceremony. And so I had to remember everything the guy said, and I had to remember what everybody said when I talked to them, and I messed it up. I picked the wrong person, but I did all of the tea ceremony stuff right. You need to refresh the scouts with money. Scouts reset when the season changes. Oh. It's a building upgrade that gets you more scouts. Oh, the materials would get me more scouts? It seemed like I needed scouts to get the materials. I couldn't interact with the materials. They were just sitting there on the ground in like a big pallet. I've been watching some Yasuke gameplay, and the more limited movement can present a proper immersive stealth experience. Kind of got me hyped. I was playing as Naue, and I tried to attack a big guy. It went poorly, and then all of his lackeys came and got me. I got outnumbered, and I died. So I went back, and then I one by one assassinated all of his buddies, and then I fought him one-on-one, and I whooped him. And I was like, okay, game, I see you. Like, I understand. It was a good lesson. I liked it. Her fragility actually worked well as a teaching moment. It was like, you're not Batman, brother. You're not going to drop into this little town. You're not Jin Sakai. You're not going to drop in this little town and be like, oh, I've got 6 people around me. That's okay. Like, I definitely was like, oh, I need to take out all the little guys first and then fight the big guy one-on-one. And it was very satisfying. I think it was a good learning experience, like the game teaching you, like, you can't play this like Tsushima or Batman, like where you just kind of drop into a group and take care of business. You probably will get to that point with her, but she's so fragile, like you get a couple of hits and you are in danger. You know, you're in danger. Yo, Bill, with 10 months of memberships, thanks so much for jumping back in. We're 14 away from 200 members. That's on pace. We need about 100 members a day. And then we'll do a Friday night stream with Madam. I don't know what will make her play this week. South of Midnight comes out. I don't know if it would be that entertaining to watch her play it. Like, I'm looking forward to it. But, yeah. AC Shadows combat is cool, but also kind of syncopated. A lot of AI just waiting around to whoop you when fighting groups. I kind of like that, though. I think one of the problems with group combat in games like this is you can get stuck in like a stun lock rut, and I haven't really had that experience. It has felt it's felt very fair. Like when I died, I was like, yeah, that's on me. That's on me. I shouldn't have gone in there. Like, I should have known. I'll be outnumbered. He's a brute. I was just kind of experimenting. And it made me just take a completely different approach. And then when the different approach worked really well, it was like super satisfying. Ghost of Tsushima group combat's perfect. I do hope I turned on automatic targeting. One thing that really annoys me in Assassin's Creed Shadows combat is I'm targeted the guy in front of me, right? A guy comes in from the right and I perfectly deflect. I should automatically grab onto him for the attacks that I'm going to follow up with. But what typically happens is I go bing, and then I go to do my counterattacks and stuff, and I go right back to the guy I was looking at, and it doesn't work well. It's like, well, that guy's now probably farther away from me, or, you know, it's not an opportunity to hit him because maybe he's guarding, and this guy I just made vulnerable. So I switched to automatic targeting. I haven't had a chance to experiment with it yet because I did a mission where I snuck in, I assassinated everybody, I got the silk, and I got out. I didn't fight the brute. And then I had to do the tea ceremony, and then when that was done, it was time for me to shut down and watch Daredevil with Madam. So I want to see if that fixes it, because that's been a super, like, it seems annoying. You can manually lock on the enemy. Yeah, but I don't want to have to do that in the middle of the block. Like, I should just block and lock onto the guy. Does that make sense? It's like, oh, I'm focusing on this guy. Oh, this guy just came out of frame. Boom, I block and I parry. Well, he should be who I'm locked on now, especially for a counterattack. You're supposed to counterattack the person that you blocked. So I'm hoping that automatic targeting will fix that, because it means that my character has now turned and faced, and now this is the closest enemy. It should work. I'm hoping that it works, because it will really, really smooth over one of the rough edges of the combat for me, because I'm like, I blocked this guy. I should be attacking this guy, and it gets really clumsy because for whatever reason, it keeps me targeted on the guy over there because I clicked the stick in. And even though I blocked this guy here, I go right back to this guy. It's like right after. That's a downside for me. I cannot stand brain dead AI, especially when groups stare at you and do nothing. I don't think you would enjoy them doing what is sensible. Do you know what they would do if it was sensible? It'd be swing, 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 you're dead. That's what they would do. Have you ever seen like the realistic fight where the girl is in the alleyway and she blocks, punches, and flips a guy, and then they go, and here's realistic. And they all basically attack her at once and get her on the ground and just kick her a bunch. Like, you wouldn't want the AI. If you wanted the AI to be smart, then you would hate it. It would be like 4 guys, they would all swing at you at once. You'd be like, hit, and you'd be dead. You'd be dead on the ground. It would be so unenjoyable. Nobody would enjoy a game like that. Even in like a Dark Souls or a Sekiro, they all kind of have aggro rhythms that are sort of in sync with each other. And sometimes they can get sort of out of sync with each other, and then you got like a hit, and then another follow-up hit. Like when enemies have no collision, that drives me crazy, because one guy will swing, and then you go to hit him, and then a guy from behind him swings through him and hurts you. I believe Ronin, they could hurt each other, which I liked. I would bait and kite guys, and the real big guys would start swinging, and they'd start hurting their buddies. Oh, I love that. I love when enemies have actual collision in a game. When they can swing through each other and pass through each other, oh, that drives me freaking crazy. I'm like, come on, what are we doing here? Like, I get it. I'm not asking for strict realism, but like, at least give them collision. Like, at least make them hit each other. I think AC Shadows and even Rise of the Ronin combat suffers from a lack of realism. Hacking at an enemy 20 times to kill them is ridiculous. Well, with Naue, it does seem to scale dependent on armor. If they have no armor, I'm killing guys in like 2 or 3 hits. If they have armor, I have to knock the armor off first. I think that's fine. Game Rant's reporting that the Halo Master Chief Collection may not be coming to PS5 after all. Despite rumors that it could eventually be coming to Switch and PlayStation 5, the game may not be coming to consoles after all, at least in its current form. One insider recently shared that they don't know if the full collection release will happen, indicating Microsoft may be looking to license single games rather than the whole collection entirely. There have been plenty of discussions regarding it, evident by games coming. In a new segment on the Xbox 2 podcast, The Verge editor Tom Warren stated that he doesn't know if a full Halo collection release will actually happen. He said, I don't know if it's going to be the collection in the sense I wouldn't think of it as every game, put it that way. That's probably the most I can say on it. Tom Warren's been pretty consistent. He knows a lot of what Xbox is doing, so maybe they are just going to grab select titles. Damage control? I don't know. He doesn't really seem to be doing damage control. He's made it clear he's got a lot of good intel, and he seems to be communicating that they are they're not doing the whole collection, maybe just a couple. Thomas Cool. Yeah, I mean, sometimes Ghost has spoiled me. I had AC sent to me, and I watched people play it. It doesn't grab me for some reason. Yo, what's good, Feed? I see you in the chat. I see you, sir. Hang on 1 second. How do I copy? You can see where we ran an ad. So we've been obviously been kind of transparent with you guys about, you know, the running ads automatically or running ads manually. We ran ads manually today, and I will go back to no longer doing it. This is just so counterproductive to being a streamer. So this is beginning of the stream, right? And so this mountain peak to this mountain peak here, this to me is a healthy stream. Okay, this is a healthy stream. New people are coming in, people are leaving, people are coming in, people are leaving. I ran an ad right here. You can see it. Boom. And then what has happened since? This is why I don't run ads during broadcasts. It isn't worth it. It isn't worth it. The platform interprets it as a problem. Oh, you just had a bunch of people leave, and then from that point on, it's a free fall. It just isn't worth it. We tried this a couple of years ago. I tried it once or twice. I never did it again. And then they recently have been like, run them automatic. And I'm like, okay, let's try it. Maybe we'll get better treatment by the website, and it'll make up for it, right? Some people might leave, but if YouTube's treating you well, you'll be getting new people. We tried it, and it's so disruptive. It's like every 6 minutes. So I was like, I'm not doing that. I don't want to do that to the user. Yesterday, I tried the conservative setting. It was still bad. So today we tried, we'll run manual. It just creates an immediate problem. It just boom, and then we just don't recover. And it's because YouTube doesn't know why people left. It just knows that people left. So they've got to figure out a way to make it work, or I'm not going to do it. I get why they want us to do it, but it just boy oh boy is it punishing, and I don't like doing that to the viewer. You know what I mean? We've tried several different methods to do what they ask. At this point, they need to provide a better option. If this is their expectation, can't say we didn't try. Yeah, I'm trying to be a good little YouTuber. You know, I'm trying to do what we know the platform values. It just is it's just too destructive. So we're just going to go back to what we've been doing, which is another reason why, you know, your direct support, it's how we're able to do this, because that just is not conducive to my main product offer is a live environment, and live environments are just not conducive to ads that make people leave. Portal's the only one solid 60 FPS with longer battery life. What are you comparing it to, though? My problem per se isn't the ads, but the amount of them in such a short amount of time. There's another channel I watch that does long form vids, and there was an ad every 3 minutes on a 2-hour video. Yeah. I can set them to be automatic, but it's going to do the same thing. It's going to do the same thing. It's going to have the same effect. It's going to make people say no. It's going to do the same thing. Like, I can literally say, do it every 45 minutes or do it every hour. The same thing's going to happen. It'll be random and it'll upset people. So, hopefully they can get better at it. I've continued to say if they would just put them in the chat or just do a bumper so that you can keep watching, I don't think people would care. I don't think people would care at all. I think they're like, oh, that's fine, as long as the stream keeps going. If they were to do that, I would have no problem running them at an interval. I'd run them every, whatever they recommend or whatever they want us to do. I'd be like, okay, I'll try that. If it just landed in the chat or was just like a banner bumper down here at the bottom or beneath the video, I'd have no problem doing that. Taking the video away from people, even for 10 seconds, it just is not conducive. I've been doing live streaming for 10 years, and it absolutely kills me that these platforms can't figure it out. It just kills me. You guys have got to figure this out. We know you want to make money in the live environment. Twitch is the same. It's like, I know you want to make money in the live environment off of ads, and buddy old pal, you guys just can't get this one right. Stream interruptions an off way to implement it. Yeah. When I heard that they were working on putting them in the chat, I got really excited. I was like, that's somebody that understands the live environment. That's somebody that understands the live environment. And they've now implemented automatic or set interval or manual ads, and they don't do that. They interrupt the stream, and I'm like, well, I'm not going to do that. What can we do? There's not a lot going on, so let's just pull open the here's a good tweet to look at from Shinobi. April 2025 games, what are you buying? Okay. Sand. I've actually not heard of Sand. I'll take a look at that one. T-Lu Part 2 Remastered coming to PC on April the 3rd. Renovator Origins. South of Midnight. Drive Loop Survivors. Commander Origins. Blueprints on the 10th. Promise Mascot Agency. Talos Principle Reawakened. Warside. Lost Records. There's a lot going on here. Indiana Jones coming to PS5. Lunar Remaster Collection. Expedition 33. That's the big one I'm looking forward to, along with South of Midnight. Fatal Fury. City of the Wolves. Tempest Rising. The 100 Line. Last Defense Academy. Days Gone Remastered. I'm excited about that. Forza Horizon 5 coming to PlayStation 5. I won't be buying that either. I don't really do those types of games. And then Moto GP 25. None of those are for me. What's this? What would the drive loop? I'm interested in some of these. Let me pull some of these up here. Your sister got you a PS5 Pro for your birthday? Wait. Feed. When was your birthday? Okay, Drive Loop did a demo trailer a month ago. It's a roguelike shooter. Oh. So it's a roguelike shooter survivor. It's your birthday today? Chat, you know what time it is. That's 2 pros now by my count. What do you mean, Broken Lobo? Has he said that before? Okay, so that's Drive Loop. So according to Shinobi's tweet, Drive Loop comes out on the 9th. Let's see what platforms. Survivors platforms. Chat, you know what time it is. Let's wish this man a happy birthday. We really got to try to get him in the gifteds. We got to. We got to. We get to 200 members. I owe you guys 20. I feel like he said he got a pro from someone like a month ago. Could be wrong. Feed? I'm scrolling back and I just see him saying good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. I can't seem to go back farther than like 8 streams ago though. Yeah, so Drive Loop Survivors showing April 9th in the Steam, but sadly it's seemingly only coming out for Steam. It's another one of those anti-consumer exclusives. Commando's Origins, no. What was the other one that sounded like the Renovator Origins? He says not me. Okay, the Renovator Origins is a first-person psychological horror game. It already came out July 13th of 2024. So it looks like it's coming to other platforms. Nintendo Switch, Xbox, and PlayStation on April the 4th. So it's a first-person psychological horror game. Let's watch a trailer here. Maybe we could play this. Maybe this could be the Madam game for Friday night. Uncover the mysteries hidden within art. It looks inspired by Layers of Fear. Yeah, Mandragora looks great. Is that this month? Yeah, this could be a good game with Madam Friday night as an incentive. I usually like to make scary games a stretch goal, though, because like the goal is just to stream with Madam. If you guys want to see me get scared and get all spooked, this could be good. This could be good. How did it do on Steam? It has an 85% on Steam, so it looks like it could be a good game. Blueprints comes out on the 10th, so we can't play that this week. We could maybe play that next week with Madam. Yeah, isn't Mandragora this week? Or next week? It's a type of plant. Mandragora and Whisper. Oh, no, April 17th. No. It's still 2 weeks away. Yeah. It looks really, really good. I don't know if you guys have seen this one yet. There we go. Forever Skies is missing from that list. Oh yeah, Forever Skies is this month as well. 1.0 on Steam and PlayStation, I believe. Yeah, so this is a side-scroller RPG. Looks like it's pretty punishing too, like almost like a side-scroller Souls, like maybe. Yeah, Feed's been around since the purple. Yeah, we've always used to gift him a membership, which we still can't do. We still can't do a single membership. They haven't given us that yet. That's supposed to be coming soon. I thought his brother bought him a Pro. I didn't think that was Feed. I thought that was somebody else. Somebody says, is this an April Fool's thing? These are not real game titles. Never seen Feed make a claim of that nature? Yeah, I thought for sure there was somebody else that came in and said that they had gotten their brother or somebody had gotten them a Pro. It wasn't JC, but it was somebody who wanted one. Was it Feed or was it somebody else? I remember somebody coming in and saying that. I don't think you guys have a false memory. I just didn't think it was Feed. Checking the feeds here. New Elden Ring Night Rain playable character revealed. The Iron Eye. See Iron Eye 2i. Let's take a look at this. Can't you check the logs? I clicked on his name. I can't see back further than like 8 streams. It just spins at the bottom when I scroll down. Okay, I'm kind of digging this. Like playing this with you guys and just sitting back and being Mr. Range Man with the arrows. That could be fun. Yeah. That's this could be a really, really fun community game. That collector's edition is hot too. What may I have claimed? That you got a pro? Somebody, what? Yeah, your brother didn't get you a pro. You recently got a pro, I think, JC. Somebody said that Feed came in and said that his family had got him a pro. And he just said it again is what they're claiming. I don't know. Has it been confirmed if you can play solo? No, you can play 1 player or 3 player. That was the sticky point. That was the sticking point for a lot of people. They didn't really understand why you wouldn't allow 2 player. JC says, yes, it was me a couple of weeks ago. Bought it myself, though. Yeah, see, that wasn't from his brother. I'm not sure who claimed their brother got them one. Feed says, I don't have a brother, only sisters. Sounds like we've got some wires crossed then. I don't know. Let's just try to get that man a membership. I need 14 more and I'll owe you 20. Guys, make sure you check the $sign. You may have a renewal to celebrate, and when you do that, it pushes the count up. Didn't see anybody playing solo in the beta. You can play solo. They said that you can. I know they said that you can. I don't know. I call BS on the Halo Master Chief not coming to PS5. I think it's an April Fool's joke, just my opinion. He said it in a podcast, though, previous to today. Tom Warren just said he doesn't think they're doing the whole collection, just going to do a couple games. And a little bit of a member chain. Cactar King and Haseo each gift a member and get us to 188. Thank you for doing that. Yeah, Shuhei Yoshida did say that Blueprints was his game of the year, yes. Let's celebrate the birthday and dope that he got a pro. That's what I'm saying. Let's get this boy a membership, man. We've been trying for a while to get Feed. Well, we got Heavy Metal Mama. She's been around for a long time. So that's a good sign for guys like Feed and Derek who keep not getting gifteds. They keep dodging eternally. Ben Starr said he got fired on his birthday. Local Thunk said, we had security escort him from the premises. He kept telling everyone, I'm the real Jimbo. I was born for this role on his way out. We allowed him to take a box of his personal belongings, bananas and nothing else. I hope they port Halo 5 only. Why Halo 5? Because Hilly's being a troll. It's like, I hope they port the one that nobody liked. Oh, man. Well, chat, it's 12:30. We are 100% out of gas. So I'll give you 30 minutes, and we're going to go to Green Room. I don't think there's any reason to extend today. The switch to direct tomorrow has completely just, everything's dead. News feeds are dead. We're all just kind of, chat's just kind of on coast mode right now. There's just nothing to talk about, and I'm not going to force it. We'll go to Green Room, kind of plan. Tomorrow's pretty easy to plan. It's the direct, so I don't know if there's much else to do tomorrow either. We're in that work. We keep going through these slumps of like AC Shadows takes over, everybody goes quiet. Nintendo Switch is about to take over tomorrow, so everybody's quiet right now. So we'll go for another 30 minutes. We'll go to Green Room. I'm not going to extend today. But once we hit 200, I'll do a 20 bomb. We're trying to get feed in here, and then we'll go chill in the Green Room. Green Room is for paying members only. That's not an open or public segment. But yeah, I thought Tom Warren specifically said the Switch would not get the Master Chief Collection. I'll pull up the quote again. He was on the Xbox 2 podcast. Hasayo does another one and gets us to 189. Thank you so much, sir. Just trying to tempt. I think he's trying to nudge it to 190, and he's trying to tempt somebody to do the 10 bomb. Warren stated he doesn't know if the full collection is going to additional consoles. He says, I don't know if it's going to be collection in that sense. I wouldn't think it would be every game. Put it that way. That's probably the most I can say on it. His comment makes it seem like Halo would make its way to PlayStation, just not as the Master Chief Collection. And then two more signals come in from Ruinous and Hasayo. They're trying to bait the 10 bomb. And they get us to 191, making the 10 bomb an agent of chaos if it happens. I don't think he was speaking specifically about Nintendo. He wasn't. So, for people new to the channel, can you please further explain how Gifted works? When you get a Gifted membership, you get a month of membership to the channel. So you get into morning coffee, Friday night streams with Madam, streams with Hilly, you get into the Discord. Right? And then if you want to the Green Room, you got to pick up the full membership for $1. And there it is. Siryu with the 10 bomb gets us to an Agents of Chaos, actually. 201. And now I owe you a 20 bomb. Let's see if we can get feed in the mix. Thank you for that 10 bomb, Siryu. And then I'm going to drop a 20 that I owe you. I owe 5 every 25. Seems like being selected might result in better margins for development. Well, and they're probably also just thinking through, like, I don't know. Why is feeding Gifted jail? I don't know. I do not know. We've been encouraging more and more people to upgrade to Member Plus and get out of the Gifted pool. Because it makes room for guys like Feed, who cannot afford the membership. We've taken care of him for many years running. And he didn't get one. We tried, Feed. We will continue to try, Feed. Yeah, we're going to go for another 30, but I need a break. I've been sitting in the chair for too long. I need a restroom break. I'll be right back. I will hit ads, and we'll just kind of continue talking, vibing, submitting questions, whatever you guys want to do, and then we'll end up in Green Room at 1 o'clock. I'll be right back. chat. It's cold, chat. Weird seeing ads and you're a paying member? Yeah, I can't stop that. That was a Twitch thing. This is what I was referring to. It's not that he said PS5 to somewhere he's incorrectly quoted. That's just a tweet. That's not the... Eric, that's just a tweet. I need the actual quote. I mean, we could go to the actual podcast when he says it. Let me see if Game Rant has the timestamp. No, they don't have the timestamp. Hang on, let me ask. I can ask the AI to find it. Let's see. When does Tom Warren say, I don't know if it's going to be collection in the sense. We can get AI to find it. It's at 124. All right. Let's listen to this.
The sense of, you know.
Oh, really?
Well, at least the direct in April.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see, like, if they're heavily involved in that or not. But they are doing a bunch of games, so
I feel like that's the announcement of Master Chief Collection for Switch and PlayStation right there.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to be collection in the sense of, you know.
Oh, really?
Not like,
wouldn't think of it.
Not like the collection as it exists right now.
Yeah, I wouldn't think of it of every game. Put it that way. Probably the most I can say on it.
Interesting. That
Do you
makes
think,
you think.
Just Gears 1 anniversary, maybe?
Well, you said Halo. Did you say Halo?
Halo 1.
Yeah.
Halo Combat Evolved. What was
Well,
it?
you remember I reported that they were doing the CE stuff for the
CE
PS5
remake.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know about you, but I'm not interested in a remake of the first game. At all.
That's hard to know. That's hard to know. The context was the Nintendo Direct, but they definitely said, that was Tom Warren from The Verge. They definitely said the Master Chief Collection for Switch and PlayStation, and Tom Warren says, I don't think it's going to be the collection. Like, it's not going to be every game. He is saying that he thinks the Halo game's not the collections being sent. Right, and I don't know if in his mind, was he speaking specifically to the Nintendo Direct and the Nintendo platform, or was he just responding to the notion of the Master Chief Collection going to PlayStation and Nintendo, and he's like, I don't think it's going to be the collection. I don't know. The context was the Nintendo Direct, but he also, in that section, it was also said that the Master Chief Collection was coming to Switch and PlayStation. So it's hard to know when he's responding, is he thinking, oh yeah, they're not doing that for Nintendo, or is he just saying in general, they're not bringing the Master Chief Collection to these other consoles. It's just going to be like a couple of them or the popular ones or whatever. Do the 30 minutes start over? I'm not sure what you're talking about, Skizzy. Why wouldn't it do the whole collection? I don't know. I mean, there could be porting issues with each individual version or something. I don't know. Maybe 2 or 3 of them are easier to port than others. There could be a variety of reasons. I'm not even going to try to guess. And a 20 bomb comes in from MASH. The theme of today for April Fools has been 20 bombs. We got a 20 bomb from Mash, a 20 bomb from me. Who else did 20 bombs today? There was a handful. There was a 20 bomb from PWH Town, a 20 bomb from Pathalon Phoenix. It's 20 bombs. It's 20 bomb day, dude. I greatly appreciate it, man. That is very kind. You guys have been just cracking off the support. Absolutely crazy. And it is very, very welcome that you guys support the channel directly. Because as we tried again today to run our experiments with ads in the streams, it doesn't work. So we are not doing it. And Ruinous gifts a member and gets us to 222. It's twos all the way across. Thank you, Ruinous. PlayStation will get Halo campaign, no multiplayer. Yeah, there was also that. There was also the claim that like they were going to get the collection and no multiplayer. John Lindemann saying, in the video, I share some critiques about Doom Eternal, but perhaps it wasn't clear that despite this, I'm quite fond of the game. It feels like sharing critique is often misrepresented as disliking something, but that's not true. Oh, you mean that somebody said something about an Xbox game and it was misrepresented? Oh no, that never happens at all. 223, Joker Quinn gifts a member. It would be so weird for somebody to say something on the internet and it get misrepresented. Linneman says, also, replaying Eternal, I'm using DLAA DLSS4 injected, and the boost in the image quality is honestly mind-blowing. It crushes the native TAA and the older DLSS implementation. It basically looks perfect now. Dude, I can't imagine saying something critical about anything over there and not having that happen. That's crazy. Single player is my favorite thing about the Halo games. I wish they did more campaigns, even without the multiplayer. I was always wanting co-op games back in the day, and they were basically the easiest ones to get to. You know what I mean? Let's see here. What's going on? Why can't I search? Oh. There we go. It'd be so cool if, like, Social Blade let you see what somebody did. I'm looking at I follow Legendary Drops on Twitter, and he just hit like 300,000 subscribers, and he said the same. He said I was at 40,000 this time last year. Like, that's crazy, right? That's crazy growth. And I was like wondering. I was like, okay, what did he do? What did he pivot into? Did he niche down? And it looks like the growth, he had crazy growth in September, and from that point on, just bottle rocketed. And I wish you could click on Social Blade to be like, what did he upload? Did he format change? Did he structure change? I'm always interested as an analytic study. How many months ago would that have been? That'd be 6 months ago. He had 1 million viewed on I Talked to Ubisoft Devs. It's far worse than we thought. He had the complete and utter collapse of Ubisoft. It looks like his Ubisoft vids were like exploding. Those two in particular did really, really well. I forget how I even found him. I don't know what video it was that I watched that I liked. I don't always agree with his takes, but I always liked the handful of vids that I watched. Who, I can tell you? Asmongold? Oh, did one of those vids get picked up by Zach? Legendary Drops. He tweeted that he was at 40,000 subs this time last year. He just crossed over 300K. Like, that's crazy growth. And I was always interested. I was like, oh, I wonder what he did. Like, did he pivot into a niche? Did he have like a breakout moment? It seems like his Ubisoft videos, he's got one close to 2 mil and another one close to 1 mil. I can't remember. I thought there was one that I watched that's how I found him. It looks like back then I watched his video on Ghosts of Yote. Maybe? Or no, I think the first video I ever watched by him was Helldivers 2 Players Call for Its End. Oh, so yep, yeah. Zach reacted to his video, They're Cooked. He talked to Ubisoft devs. It's far worse than we thought. Okay. A lot of people have gotten on the growth engine with the Ubisoft stuff. It was a red hot topic. Makes sense. Rinsler with the Member Plus. And gets us to 224. You're saying he went reactive. Oh, you unfollowed. His video on Ghost of Yote was cringe. Our beloved character, Jin, we weren't ready to let go. You can see how long you've watched a video. I only got halfway through his video. I forget why I started following him. I think it might have been the Helldivers video. And then I think when I watched the Yote video, I also was just like, I didn't, yeah. I did not agree. I don't expect to agree with everybody, but I did not agree. As an enormous Ghost of Tsushima fan, I actually think it's a great decision to leave Jin Sakai behind because his story is complete. It's encased. We didn't need a sequel where you're going to be like, well, we got to take away his abilities, his stances. You got to kind of start over. I just don't think that would have been good for his character arc or to have him leave Tsushima. Zach reacted to him several times. Oh, that'll do it. That'll do it. That'll put you on the radar of a lot of people. There have been a lot of folks that have had breakout moments because of the Oprah Asmongold effect. We got a game rant April Fool's joke. Grand Theft Auto 6 has been delayed in order to avoid the launch of Grand Theft Auto 6. In an exclusive interview, like the rest of the industry, they didn't want to go up against GTA 6, so they felt the delay was warranted. Okay, this is funny. This is creative. He didn't just break out because of Asmon. Nobody's saying that, but that certainly puts gas in the that's putting gas in the tank. I'm not saying that. I'm sure that there are people that are going to try to create beef and claim that I said that. I didn't say that. There are people in chat saying that. I mean, getting reacted to by Zach certainly gives some people growth opportunities, right? I mean, all of a sudden you're in front of way more people, you know? That doesn't take away from somebody's hard work. A lot of the times people have a breakout moment because they're making great vids, and a bunch of people see those great vids, and then they go and watch and sub and watch more. Setting it 300 years in the future allows Sucker Punch to expand the combat. Right, you can get away from the bow and you can give her a rifle, right? You can, yeah. I wouldn't say it doesn't give him an opportunity, but the dude does make great vids. He's very well spoken. Yeah, his scripts are pretty good. He seems to speak. I've wanted to try to do something similar instead of reading, just speaking, which is really difficult for me because I enjoy writing the monologue, but then it just sounds like I'm reading it, and like trying to transcend, like, here's what I want to say. can I say it without reading too much? Like getting into sort of a rhythm of that. Like the handful of videos I've watched from him, he actually does a very good job with that. He creates sort of a cadence and flow that sounds like he's just like talking to you. He has like a style of almost like ranting that feels like it's just kind of coming off the cuff. I have not played Doom the Dark Ages, no. We looked at previews, and I gave people a summary about why it's increased my excitement, but it might worry some folks. I think there might be some people that don't end up liking it. They got rid of the takedown animation from previous games. Oh, the glory kills? I thought people said there were still glory kills in the game. Like it's still a method of you getting the ammunition or the armor back. But maybe did they just get rid of the actual animation? Not a 20 bomb, but thankfully was able to get off the don't call it that, the welfare membership and renew. Thanks for all the gifted. Hey, if you upgraded, that's worth 2. I'm bumping it. I'm bumping it to 225. I owe you guys 5 more members. And a $5 super chat from Perfect Image. I see in the YouTube spaces these guys want to call ponies and PSN users don't care other than our exclusives and they want everything. I don't understand what you're trying to say. Thank you for the super chat. I'm not sure what you're saying. You read it right. In the YouTube spaces, the X-bots want to call ponies and PSN users don't care other than our exclusives, and Xbots want everything. I don't understand. I mean, I have the ability to read, and I read, but I don't understand. I'm lacking understanding in what you're trying to communicate. Even Co Carnage was told to pick a side. I mean, Assassin's Creed's been really weird for us. Like every time we've tried to cover it, we didn't get great results. Either in upload format or stream format. Our best video was the Hate is Helping, but when we did the Not What You Think, I was like, that we got such a tepid response. Now we got positive affirmation in the comments. People really vibe for it. But we are very much facing the reality that if we won't go negative, it's really, really hard to create intrigue in YouTube space right now. It's very difficult to create intrigue without just going negative. We're having to get creative. Like if I want to go positive or I want to go opinionated, but I'm not just going to do like a scathing, this game sucks, it's woke thing, right? It's really, really difficult to create interest. Like, people just don't care. They're like, unless you're banging on the hate drum or the negative drum, it's really, really hard right now to get people's attention. They just don't freaking care. Like, our best video recently was the Monhunt Wilds one because I said, it's everything wrong with gaming. Well, that's like the most negative thumbnail I've ever had. But then weird things will happen. Our Astrobot is here to stay video, super positive video, pretty short video. It all of a sudden took off like a bottle rocket. It's doing amazing. It's one of our most watched videos recently. It's at like 20,000 views. So like, it's just such a, it honestly feels sometimes like a slot machine. You're like, I have no idea if people are going to vibe with or care about what you have to say if it's positive, right? Like negativity, holy crap. If you go negative, if you go on the attack, you call something woke or whatever, you can generate a ton of clicks. You can, right? But if you try to go positive, it's a lot. I feel like it's a lot harder. Yeah, I started playing last night. I picked it up again last night, Jack Garland. It really is. I feel like you have to be a lot more creative if you're going to go positive. Like if you're going to go negative, I just feel like there's a lot of people that they love to have their negative opinion affirmed, and they're going to dogpile on the video. I think sometimes that's because positivity is just looked at more with more skepticism, like especially with a game, right? Do you want to hear a guy talk about why he's having such a good time? No, you want to make sure you're not going to have a bad time. So you're going to go and listen to the people that are having a bad time or criticizing or hating it, and you're hoping to glean more useful information. Some of it, I do think, is based off of efficacy. It's like, well, it's more efficacious, it's more efficient for me to hear the negative things. And if you're like, oh, those aren't so bad, I could eat around that and still have a good time, that's more useful to you than just somebody who's like, yeah, this game's great, I'm having a great time with it. Right? So like trying to find a way, and I'm still trying to find my way, like the best way to grow on YouTube's uploads, and we committed to doing more uploads this year, and I've just really failed in that regard. Like I get gun shy, and I'm like, well, that won't be good, or that won't be good, or I don't know if we want to say that, or oh, that's going to invite attacks. And so I think we've been really gun shy again. I feel like we go through cycles of this. The 5 years I've been doing this on YouTube, it's like I start to get gun shy because we'll have one or two vids not hit, not land strong, and then I'm like, yeah, let's just wait. And sadly, if you do start to, it's sort of a catch-22. If you don't have standards and you're just making a video all the time for the sake of making a video, they'll start to perform poorly, and then you'll get depreciating returns. If you take a long time in between your videos and you don't do them that often, that can also create depreciating returns because like you have an unpredictable upload pattern, and so then your user base doesn't know if and when they're going to be getting an upload. So I just think we're still in that period of me trying to figure out, when do I want to do one? What do I want to say? How do I want to structure the video? I'm still figuring that out, because I just, for the last 10 years, have primarily been a live streamer. Uploads is still not my it's not my primary mindset or wheelhouse. There's definitely an opinion piece I want to do about Death Stranding now. There was the opinion piece we want to do, like gaming isn't dying. We've got a lot of pieces over there that we should probably just start pulling the trigger on. Just do it. Just, let the chips fall where they may. But also, I've been trying to play games more. So when we don't feel like we've got a strong upload, I'm like, well, that works out. I really wanted to finish Death Stranding, and that serves a greater purpose. I think Death Stranding 2 is Game of the Year frontrunner, and I'd like to make a video about my experience in 1 as well as what I think is going to happen with 2. I couldn't do that until I rolled credits. So when it comes to Nintendo, the gaming world don't criticize because the software is great and the games are well performing. We'll see how the Switch 2 does. Yeah, but the PlayStation games do well in performance as well as sales as well, but they're like overly scrutinized. I mean, unless you're just going to say Nintendo games sell more. I mean, that comparison's not. I mean, you're comparing completely different things at that point. Like Zelda selling more than like a God of War is kind of like a given. But performance-wise, as far as graphics, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. All right. Switch 2 better run. Tomorrow's the big day. Tomorrow is the big day. We will find out. We will find out. Okay. What you're saying is true in any industry. For me, I just kept trying my best to do good work, let other teams see my work, and then eventually 2 good projects reach the ear of the right people. Oh yeah, I'm always just trying to learn and improve. And so when I see somebody all of a sudden have like big growth, I'm like, oh, what, did they niche down? Did they change their format? I'm never concerned with what they're saying. I'm concerned with how they're saying it, right? Like, we've looked at a lot of content creators over the years who cover things or cover politics or culture, and I don't agree with anything they say for the most part, but I like to analyze their approach to the craft. So, all right, there's the 5 members that I owe you. We're going to go ahead and go to the green room. This is a segment for paying members only, so if you want to come with us, you need to upgrade to Member Plus, or you can sign up for Member Plus right now. Basically, the advantage of being a paying member is your day doesn't end right now. You get to continue hanging out and kind of see us, comb over the news cycle. Not much to comb over because everybody's kind of holding their breath for the Nintendo Direct tomorrow, which we will be co-streaming, so make sure you're here for that. We'll go live a little bit earlier with Morning Coffee tomorrow. Might be a bit of a delay in me starting this one because it was a little slow on YouTube. But thank you so much for being a Member Plus or a VIP. You guys are the reason we are able to do this. A lot of you don't just do that. You also gift members and support. And, buddy, the ups and downs of YouTube. And right there, speak of the devil, a 20 bomb from MASH at the tail end of the stream. I'm starting up Green Room. And this guy says, no, let's do another 20 bomb here at the buzzer. Every single one of you that are getting one of these members, you can decide to bump it up to a Member Plus for $1 and come with us. I'm starting the Green Room right now. And our boy Mash just consistently supporting the channel in an overwhelming amount. This is one of the reasons that we always encourage you guys to pick up your own membership if you can. You're making room for others. We're trying to get guys like Feed and my brother back in the member pool, and they just can't do it. And if you've been taking up a seat in the gifted pool for a long, long time and you can give that seat up to somebody else, consider doing that. Let me set up redirect. I don't actually think I've set up redirect yet. Let me do that. Oh, yes, I have. All right. I'm going to end that stream and bring folks over with redirect. Thanks so much for the support today. And Feet on Land upgraded to a